My partner here, he want to see the product.
When he talking?
My name is Jeff. It's Jefe, man.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Friday night roast. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Natasha. What are you doing?
I am actually trying to, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm excited for tonight.
Me too.
What are you doing? Yeah,
Being very excited for tonight, trying to
yeah.
remain,
Keep it together.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So welcome, everyone. Come on in, get comfortable, settle in. Tonight, we're going to look at the case of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and the murder of Dee Dee. So, Jen, do you mind giving us a little intro into the case?
Absolutely.
Lovely. Thank you.
So, what we're going to watch tonight is the interrogation of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, like Natasha just said. Gypsy, along with her boyfriend Nicholas Godejohn, planned and carried out the murder of Gypsy's mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. So the case begins on June 14th, 2015, when police are called to do a well check on the mother and daughter after a series of disturbing and graphic Facebook posts are made to their joint account. So there were three of them. I think it started with "That bitch is dead." Then it was "I slashed that fat pig's throat." They were bad. I can't remember them all right off the top of my head, though.
I can try to find it if you want while you're going through it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So officers arrive at the home and are greeted by family friends, David and Christy Blanchard. They're not related to Dee Dee and Gypsy. So the couple informs officers that Dee Dee and Gypsy haven't been seen in 2 days. They also tell the police that Gypsy is not well. She faces many health challenges. She requires a wheelchair to get around. So a search of the exterior of the home shows no forced entry, and nothing really, seems amiss except for the repeated calls to Dee Dee's phone and knocks on the door have gone unanswered. The family car and Gypsy and Dee Dee's only mode of transportation is in the driveway. So David Blanchard enters the home using an unlocked kitchen window. And once inside, he is alarmed at what he finds. Both of Gypsy's wheelchairs are in the home. There were actually several wheelchairs in the home, but the two that Gypsy uses the most frequently were immediately visible. One of them was in the living room, and then one of them was in the bathroom.
Jen, I put up the Facebook post.
Okay.
So yeah, the actual post itself is, well, actually both posts are by Gypsy, right? She wrote them. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, but these are the posts, that sounded the alarm for the friends and neighbors. You can still go to this particular Facebook account. The post is still up. Most of the comments are still on that post. It's been turned into a memorial page, so obviously, you can't comment on it or anything, but you can see the way that the family friends are concerned and kind of hemming and hawing about what to do. And then finally David and Christy drive over there. So after David gets into the home, he makes it down the hallway to Dee Dee's bedroom, and he makes a horrific discovery. So under the blankets and sheets covered in blood is the body of 48-year-old Dee Dee Blanchard. Dee Dee has multiple stab wounds to her back, as well as 2 large incised wounds to the back of her neck that were so deep they reached the cervical spine. but still nobody knows where Gypsy is. Okay. So Facebook is contacted, and the posts are traced back to a home in Wisconsin. So this home belongs to Nicholas Godejohn, his mother and his stepfather. And Nicholas is Gypsy's boyfriend of 3 years that, she met online. So the police, in Waukesha County, raid the home where they find Nick and Gypsy. The couple are taken into custody and brought to the police department to await questioning from detectives from Greene County, Missouri. Once the Greene County detectives arrive, they are shocked to learn Gypsy's real age and that she can walk. So what we're going to watch, though, is this part of the interrogation is before the detectives from Missouri arrive. This interrogation was never shown in any of the documentaries or any of the specials. And there's obviously more to the story, but after we do this part, then we'll go further deep into all of, the crux of everything.
Yes, but we're going to start here. But right now, though, obviously both Gypsy and Nick have been convicted and they're both in prison right now. Nick is in for life and he's currently appealing, and Gypsy is due to get out. When is it? 2023, I think, or something like that.
If she were to serve her full time, I think 2023 is correct. I do know that she has her first parole hearing in December of this year, because she got 10 years and was required to do 80% of her time. So, so I think 2020. So I think how it goes is she gets the hearing in 2021, and then they have time to deliberate on it. And I think the earliest parole date is 2023. I'll have to look that up, but I think that's how it goes, if I remember right. It's been a minute.
Yeah, so that is the story. So shall we start with the first part of the interrogation?
I think we shall.
All right. So like Jen said, this is Miss Gypsy Rose, and she is waiting for the detectives from Missouri to arrive. So let's get started.
Gypsy Rose, when you came up here, did you bring the package and clothing with you?
I did. I brought a suitcase and I brought a backpack.
You brought a suitcase and a backpack. Was there any medications or anything in the suitcase or the backpack?
There was some pain pills. I just
Okay.
took my medicine like I was supposed
Okay.
to.
All right. Are you doing good right now? You need any water? Or...
Some water would be nice.
Okay, so why don't you step on out here? We'll get you some water. Do you need to use the restroom at all?
No, sir.
That's what you want. Was it? Or would you start the hallway first?
Oh my God.
So one of the interesting things about this situation here with Gypsy is, first of all, where she is being held versus where Godejohn is being held. He is in another room, an actual interrogation room, still in handcuffs, and nobody has. I know that they did feed him. I know that they did give him water, but nobody's asked him if he needs to use the bathroom. Nobody has given him a blanket. He doesn't get this comfy couch. And the other thing that I want to talk about here right now is this list of medications. So it is true that Gypsy did bring medication with her. What was found was pain medication, not in her name, Xanax, also not in her name. They were in her mother's name. an off-brand allergy medication. So for a girl who believes that she's so sick, how come she didn't take any of her own meds with her?
Well, she does at some point say, well, not at this point, but later on, that like she's not sick, really.
Well,
You want to talk to
No.
you just for a second?
You want to sit?
Yeah, just take a second here.
well, no, what she says is she didn't find out she wasn't sick until after she went to jail.
Right.
But so what I'm saying is if she thought she was sick, including cancer, why
Right.
didn't she take any medication other than the fun pills, Xanax
Yeah.
and pain meds?
Yeah.
And obviously allergy medication. You know, you don't want to be without your allergy medication.
Gypsy, is it? Gypsy Rose? Okay. You want to come with me? We're going to go get you checked out at the doctor real quick.
Get you back on them meds, okay?
Okay, sound good?
Yep.
Hang on. What's there? We'll go left.
Hey, was this your stuff or no? Okay. All right, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let me just pause for a second, just because there's some things in chat that are coming up. So there are people who believe, that that Gypsy is a victim of Munchausen, which she is, but there's also a level of criminality to her. So we're not talking about the abuse that she's lived through. We're more so talking about how she's,
I think for most
Grown.
people, if you haven't seen this part of the interrogation, I think that a lot of it, I'm going to tell you, it changed my mind. I've always side-eyed Gypsy. I'm not even going to lie. Side-eyed her from the minute she sat down in Mommy, Dead, and Dearest and says, well, I've never been honest before, not even with my lawyers. I haven't even been all the way honest with them. That's when the side-eye for me started.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. I've looked into this case a long time ago, and I, in my personal opinion, I think that Gypsy got away with murder.
She did.
So yeah, let's keep going.
Here you go, Gypsy. I got a blanket for you. You're welcome. There you go.
I agree, Max. You can be abused and a criminal. Matter of fact, most people in prison have a history of trauma and abuse.
You know who takes naps in an interrogation room?
Who?
Guilty people. Not innocent people. Innocent people are scared. They wonder why they're there. They have no clue what's going on. They're paying attention to all the things. Meanwhile, nap time.
But at this point, right, she doesn't know that her mom is dead. Quote unquote.
She absolutely knows that her mom is dead. She hasn't admitted that she knows that her mother is dead.
Right. So
Yeah.
she will be confronted with that information by the detective, and her reaction to that will be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Amelia Gemini, actually, she wasn't coming off of any medication other than Xanax and pain meds. That's it.
Well, and those are pretty rough ones to detox.
Yeah, but I don't know how. Here's the
Do
thing.
you need to use the bathroom at all anytime soon?
I'm sure it's somewhere, but it's nowhere that I've ever seen it. I have no idea what the pill count was when she started to take them, what the how much was dispensed. To me, I've seen people I've withdrawn from Xanax and pain medication. You don't sleep. In fact, you're completely awake.
True.
So
True.
Okay. I can call someone in for you.
no, Brennan Tube, she was not on a bunch of other meds
You said last word.
when her mother was killed.
Let me try. I think so, yeah. Okay. I'll call in a female deputy for you, okay? 9225. 9225. Can you have 9264 1019 WSD when she has a minute?
Just while we're waiting, would you guys in chat be surprised to learn that Gypsy is the one who approached the lady at the shelter when they were when they were sheltering for Hurricane Katrina? Would you be surprised that she's the one that negotiated getting to Missouri herself? Not Dee Dee?
On the menu tonight, but is there anything particular that you'd like me to try and get you?
I didn't know that.
Picky.
Not
Yep.
picky? Alright.
Other they don't have tomatoes.
No tomatoes?
No tomatoes.
Okay, I can help you out with that one.
What time is it for you?
Oh, no, Brennan Tube. If you look at that closet, really, really look at it. Most of it is over-the-counter medication. There's not a lot of actual prescription medication. And I know that there was, I think some inhalers, but as far as legitimate medications, specifically for the things that Dee Dee and Gypsy claimed that Gypsy had, there was no medication for that. They were by and large quantities, like bulk quantities of over-the-counter medication. Not.
Was she 21 at this time?
Oh God, don't make me do the math.
I'm pretty.
23.
She was 23.
23.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Allie. She was 23.
Yeah, you were out. Nothing wrong with a good nap.
Yes, Brennan Tube, exactly. And Lauren, she absolutely knew her real age. And let me tell you why. Because when they lived in Louisiana, they lived off and on with Dee Dee's mom. And Dee Dee has siblings that were often around. In fact, if you watch Mommy Dead and Dearest, they show some of them in the background at at the house. They had birthday parties for her. She absolutely knew her right age.
I didn't even know you came here with anyone. That's how little I know.
Yeah.
So,
I'm originally from Missouri, and I came here. My mom kicked me out of the house. And she was like, "Well, it's time to, grow up." So
Well, that's a lie.
I got out on
First
my
lie.
own, and I called my boyfriend, and he came. He lives in Big Bend, and he came down to Springfield to pick me up. Anyway, we take the Greyhound bus, and everything seems fine. And our bus got
Anyway, we just killed my mom and we just got on the bus. Anyway, no big
A
deal.
couple days went by, perfectly normal. All of a sudden, we wake up to a loud knock at the door.
Yeah, cop knocks are loud.
You're under arrest. And, well, he's the only one that's under arrest. I'm not really sure why I'm here. And anyway, they took us, and I'm here. And I don't know what's going on with him.
Okay. Sorry, I can try and
It's okay.
for you. Sure, one of the detectives knows a lot more than I do.
Right. And I think I'm just waiting on someone from the county that I used to live in to come and talk.
Okay.
My mom kicked me out and I turned the thermostat way down to preserve her body.
Soon. Then you can
Right?
ask them your questions.
Then I had to go to the hospital and get some
Be patient. Still motivated, Wolf. We're getting there.
We're just warming up.
We're just warming up.
It's kind of weird though. People seeing you in handcuffs, they give you this weird look, and I'm like, I didn't do anything. Like, okay,
Oh,
I didn't
Gypsy.
kill nobody. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink.
I don't do drugs. I just pop my mom's Xannies and her pain meds that aren't in my name.
I love how she says, the first thing she says is, I didn't kill nobody.
Exactly right. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't go on the internet for the last 3 years and emotionally terrorize my boyfriend and manipulate him into killing my mom. I didn't send him the money for the bus ticket. I didn't bang him in the bathroom stall of a movie theater. No,
And
none of
we
those.
absolutely did not mail the murder weapon back to his fucking house.
Who would do that? That is ludicrous. Why would we? No.
They travel cross country and they fucking didn't know what to do with the knife, so they mail it to them. That's almost like mailing yourself weed from Colorado.
Yes. To a state where it's medically legal.
Woo.
Kathy, no, she has not behaved well in jail. She's been in trouble multiple times for breaking the rules.
Yeah. She's another one that likes to play.
Yes. I definitely also did not research 11 billion ways to kill your mom, including arson and poison. Absolutely didn't do. And I also, I didn't shoplift either. I didn't steal that knife from the Walmarts while my mom was busy on another aisle. Absolutely didn't do that. I am not a criminal.
Never.
No.
Good news. The female deputy just got here, so you can go to the bathroom.
Oh, hi. She was busted with the lubricants and then some. Gypsy was running Facebook groups shit from jail. starting Facebook wars and shit. Y'all don't even know.
No, yeah.
Hey, we've got some food for you.
So we got some food.
Thank you.
Oh.
I didn't make the most cringy reference ever. He's eating a brownie, and then he'll be eating me.
It's wonderful.
This looks wonderful. What the?
Yeah, nothing says the gourmet meal like jail food. Let me see what I got here. Okay. Let me inspect it.
Get you some water or something too to drink. Did they give you something? Oh, that's some apple juice. There you go.
The rules that she broke, she buying stuff for other people with her book money, buying stamps. I mean, just petty, small things, but this is her only, according to her, taste of freedom, right? I know jail is not free, but she said many times that jail or prison is more free than living with her mother, and she still can't follow the rules. So
Yeah, if that's look, as someone who has worked in prison, if you can't follow the rules in prison, then well, and obviously like no one does follow the rules like completely, but just this petty stuff. Mind you, a lot of the officers let people get away with little things like
mhm.
sometimes they let people pass food as long as it's not like this huge organized thing that's going on. Like if
Right,
it's
like she wasn't running drugs or anything like that. Like she wasn't, having prison boxing nights and taking bets or anything like that. Like she wasn't a bookie or anything. I mean,
right.
she just
Like for you to get in trouble for that means, I mean, I'm guessing, but I'm assuming that it's happened multiple times, and that was when they finally said, all right, it has to stop. But didn't she also get in trouble for being on Facebook or telling people what to say on Facebook?
I know that there were complaints about that. I know that I don't know if she actually got into trouble though.
Yeah.
For
and
that.
she was engaged at one point, right?
She was engaged.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's just keep watching.
By the Great Hall, and Pottermore was there, the website, and they were sorting people. I got sorted into Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff.
And for years I've been
This is when Gypsy becomes a spokesperson for Universal Studios.
Oh.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And how her and her mom lied and finagled her way to the front of the line to be able to cut in front of actually sick children. Mm-hmm.
I'm taken as Gryffindor. I cannot be Hufflepuff.
So how did they do that? Did they give you like a little quiz to take or something?
When they were doing it, you could do it online, or you can do, or where I was at, they can just sort you right on the spot with that.
Okay. Also, you actually got to sit up there in the stool.
That. But I also took the online quiz.
Okay.
And the funniest thing is you would think that Gryffindor is righteous and they do the right thing, and they're brave, but they're also good. But a lot of people tell me they're more like Slytherin than you would think. It's just there are more bad wizards that come from Slytherin than Gryffindor.
What the hell is she talking about?
Harry Potter. I mean, she's not wrong in the stuff that she's saying. It's just the fact that she's a chatty Cathy, but this is a girl who, according to her, and this is the part you guys are missing, that according to her has been sheltered, abused, and locked away by her mom. Does this strike you as somebody who's been sheltered, abused, and locked away from society? No, she's chatting up the cop.
Yeah.
Telling all about the Griffin. And look, the truth of the matter is, she probably is a Hufflepuff.
I don't even know what that means, but I'll take your word for it.
I wouldn't want to be a Hufflepuff. Listen to the name. Does it sound like something you'd want to be? Does it sound like the cool kids?
Well,
no.
Actually, it does.
Hufflepuff?
It sounds yummy.
Sounds like Jigglypuff.
Well, it sounds like it would taste good, so.
Fantastic beasts and where to find them.
Okay, yes, I remember that now.
This cop doesn't remember that.
Hey, not your mama.
I don't know.
You want to come up? Not your mama?
Yes. Drop the link for Not Your Mama.
So, since she's been, so Not Your Mama is my sister, Sandra, and she has been very involved in this case. She is, I was telling the girls earlier, she was communicating with the district attorney in this case so much that I dubbed them best friends. And I made a picture of them together for memory and for keepsake. So
It is a good picture.
so if you want to come up, not your mama, let me know. And I'm gonna have to pull up that picture now to show everybody, but let's keep listening while I do that.
Ever since I was little.
You know me and my pictures. I always
Yes.
have to check my pictures.
Check your pictures.
I do have a friend named Shmita.
People carrying around.
I have like 10,000 of them.
Oh, it was Harry Potter mainly.
Oh,
It was like
that's
everybody was
funny.
in robes, everybody had wands. It was pretty awesome.
Very cool.
And low key, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Universal, but where Gypsy was at, there's two different parts to Universal. It ain't cheap, and it's way too expensive to do both parks in both days. So she got, oh, there she is. Hot stuff.
That would be the district attorney in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, and not your mama. They are best friends.
Mm-hmm. Besties.
So, not your mama. Here's the link. Come on up. I will remove the best friends.
Go to Magic Kingdom and went and danced the waltz with Prince Charming and Cinderella.
Oh, you danced, did you?
My mom and I got the Disney dining plan, which is
What did she
Oh, she danced. She danced the Cinderella waltz with Prince Charming. Her
Matt.
now she's about to become the. You all want to pay attention to this because Gypsy's about to drop the deets on how to get into Disney World cheap, where to stay. She got the dine-in pass. She's going to tell you all the things. So be heads up here.
So she's a tour guide.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Yes.
Not your mama. Your headphones are at my house for some reason, and don't ask me why because I just found them. So don't even bother looking for them.
They're not there.
What was I going to say about the... Oh, yeah. So you said that... Wait a minute. She was dancing with Prince Charming, huh?
That's what she said. She said, I danced the Cinderella waltz with Prince Charming.
And then, okay, so she's danced with Prince Charming. She ran away to some dude's house that one time. She was screwing around with Nick. She was going somewhere in cabs and stuff overnight. So Gypsy's been getting down. She's engaged in jail. Like she's been getting down. Like she's not playing. Come on, girl.
Exactly. And Max, 2002,
get it, girl.
Yes, at one visit, yes, was sponsored by the Make-A-Wish Foundation, but the subsequent ones, including the last one, were not. So there you go. And keep listening because you'll hear tons more of all the things that she did at Disney World. Things that would surprise you.
Like meth? No, I'm just kidding.
a human being cannot eat this much food.
Too much food?
And we went eat at Chef Mickey's. I had way too much sugar. Whenever you go anywhere in Disney, they try to pump you with sugar.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the night, it was closing time. I was so filled with sugar that I was dancing up and down Main Street at Magic Kingdom. And then it's funny because the park was all closed. The castle was there.
Was she dancing in her
I
wheelchair?
go to the castle
No.
And I touched the railing and I'm like, there's nobody else here.
So they got you all hopped up on
What a weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's nice of them.
So while everybody's thinking that this girl is, very, very ill, raising money for her, she's dancing, hopped up on sugar at Disney World.
There.
Probably like 15 years ago now. The only thing I remember, probably even longer than that, was the big subway thing that was up on
Oh, the monorail.
Yeah, the monorail to ride around. I
Mhm.
thought that was so cool. And then I think it was Epcot.
Jessica, the cop was social distancing before it was
before
cool.
before it was a thing.
They
He's
had a bunch
basically
of
babysitting
flavors
her.
or something like that.
Babysitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went through that.
Yeah, well,
You tried Beverly?
there is your
That's a really bad one.
Beverly.
Mhm. That's the icky tasting one.
Was it?
Yeah,
There's a lot of weird.
they say it's from Germany, but they import it in especially for that,
Okay.
just for the icky taste.
Oh,
It's just so
that makes sense.
bevy
I'm
of
sure that
trivia.
didn't sugar rush it all.
No, and it's gonna be. I'm like one of these kids that like dare me to.
Yeah, we're not judging. This is for entertainment. I mean, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was convicted of murdering her mother. So I think we can give ourselves a little pass and be a little funny with her. So there's plenty, like, this is gonna, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but trauma does not excuse you from being a criminal. As we've said at the beginning, the statistic is about 80% of incarcerated people have a history of trauma. But I would venture and say that it's way more than 80. I would say that it's 90%. Like in the US in particular, the prisons and the county jails look more like mental health institutions than correctional anything. So Gypsy is where she belongs, and she did a very bad thing, and mental illness does not excuse that. So
Meanwhile, she's not. She has been
Hi.
offered all kinds of therapy and medication, and yet she's declined it. She's never been actually diagnosed with any type of mental health issue. Just
Yeah,
thought
she
I'd throw
doesn't.
that out there. She's not being. In fact, she's vehement that she doesn't even need therapy. There's nothing wrong with her. She's fine. The
Yeah,
end.
and severe, like, trauma, personality disorders are oftentimes childhood trauma manifesting itself in adulthood.
Correct.
If that makes sense. So she is not walking around this scarred woman that's having flashbacks every day and is having startled responses like you would imagine veterans having if they come back, when they come back and suffer with PTSD and symptoms similar to that. When you have deep-rooted trauma from your childhood, we don't experience this acute stress all the time. We don't relive it. We don't get nightmares as often, as frequently. It's more embedded into our disordered, quote unquote, behavior. So personality disorders, the way that I like to conceptualize them sometimes, is the pattern of behavior that has helped us survive, basically, if it's maladaptive, and getting over that, learning how to live with a personality disorder. It's like a personality disorder isn't anything except symptoms interfering with your life. So if it's not interfering with your life, it's not necessarily disorder. But now that's a whole different discussion. The point being is, this woman is a criminal, period. So
Exactly. And
I don't know
no,
what
it
happened
isn't.
to not your mama. Sorry.
It is not normal to have a feeding tube placed if you don't need it. It's also not normal to know that you don't need the feeding tube and then ask your boyfriend what hospitals are around so that you can have it replaced. Not removed, replaced.
So Amelia says she all but held the weapon. I would argue that she did hold the weapon.
We're going to get into that too.
Yeah. And second thing that I also want to say, which I think is freaking just speaks for itself, is while the act of the murder was being committed, Miss Gypsy Rose was in the bathroom shaving her empanada, getting ready to get down.
Correct.
So don't come at me with this. Poor girl has been abused. Yes, she has been abused. And she's also a monster.
Drink it. So I'm like, I take a full cup and I chug it all down at once. Swallow it, no bad taste. I'm like, I want more.
Really?
And then Mom's like, no, you have to sip. I'm like,
So that's where the difference came in. I'm trying to think. I don't remember any really bad ones.
Are you
It was
fucking
so
kidding
long
me?
ago. What did it taste?
Okay, this is the type of night that we're having. All right, day by day. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by.
Like, just
like rotten
unexplainably terrible.
eggs and a very, very bitter taste. And
Those Germans
I'm-
are crazy, you know?
I missed a diagnosis
now
in
you
there,
know
I
they're
guess.
building a new section.
Whatever, I don't even give a shit.
Exactly.
Avatar Land.
Really? Based off
Let
the
me,
movie?
as a matter of fact,
Really?
while we're at it, let me diagnose her too. Day by day, your diagnosis is troll syndrome. So stop it. Lighten up, please. Come on.
Big
Yes.
blue people and
Relax. Get some popcorn, get a snack, and just enjoy yourself.
I
Right.
guess I'm not surprised.
You're gonna give yourself an aneurysm.
It was. It was good, and they're actually coming out with 2 more movies.
2 more?
Yeah.
Really?
It's not until like 2 years from now.
Okay. Well, yeah, all those special effects, they probably take a long time to make.
Yeah.
Interesting.
TT syndrome.
But I might go down there probably once every 2-3 years.
Okay.
We save up our money, and we usually like to stay
Right.
There you
on
go.
in Florida,
Wow.
just so we don't rush, because
They
there's so
save up
much
their
to
money.
see, and you can't do it all in one day.
Right.
Bye,
So we
Kate.
usually do half park one day, take a day off, half park the next,
Okay.
and go
That's
like that.
You don't tire yourself out.
Right.
That otherwise, after 3 days, you're like, oh, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
At the end of the trip, I was pretty tired, and then my poor mom was there at both places, Universal and Disney World, 12 of them. And she had to be taken by ambulance to Celebration Hospital.
Really?
Dr. Natasha, can you rewind that back, please?
How far?
Just to where she's talking about what happened to her mom, because this, in my opinion, is the true motive for the murder.
Oh, okay, let's see.
Universal and Disney World, 12 of them. And she had to be taken by ambulance to Celebration Hospital.
Really?
That was,
It's not a very enjoyable vacation.
well, I mean, besides
Oh, shit.
issues.
Just a little hiccup on the road, huh?
Did she say Celebration Hospital?
That's what she said, uh-huh.
Isn't Celebration where Anthony Toad killed his family? Isn't that where that happened? Is Celebration like a Disney town in Florida?
Yeah, Disney has its own, like, police and everything like that. So, yes, I think that is where she was. But this is my point. This is what I believe to be the true motive behind Gypsy's why she
tell
killed her
us.
mother. I do not think that it was because she wanted to be free or to run the streets with boys or to do what she wanted. Gypsy was actually doing at the end. I don't know. I can't speak to her time in Louisiana, but I can speak to the time in Missouri. And when they were in Missouri, Gypsy was very much complicit and running the show. She was 15 when they moved to Missouri, not 12, like she told people. Okay. But the bottom line is, after Gypsy became 18, turned 18, when she started getting the disability checks, she was the one signing the application to be on disability, making her complicit in the con. So I firmly believe that when Dee Dee was rushed to the hospital, because she was rushed a couple of times while they were at Disney World, the January before the murders. I think that Gypsy started to panic. She realized that the jig was going to be up. she was going to be on the hook for the con. And I think that's the real reason that she had her mother killed. Not because she was trying to escape. She could have escaped at any time. She always knew how old she was. And that's the truth.
Like she would go out and party at night while her mother was sleeping. Or
Exactly.
she wouldn't even surprise me if she would, put her mom to sleep so that she could go out. Like she would Uber herself out and go hang out with people, chill. She's been spotted by neighbors getting out of taxis, walking her ass to her house.
Exactly. And also you have to keep in mind too that if she was under this lock and key, as the narrative goes, and and I don't blame people I thought that that's what was going on too at first. Okay.
Me too.
Because that is the narrative that every single show that's ever been done about her starts with, which is Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is her defense attorney came up with Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and had the DA actually read all of the paperwork, because he had asked for any mitigating evidence, and he was sent these gobs and gobs of medical records. Had he read them, what he actually would have found is more tests than actual procedures. Period.
Right. And even the doctors who treated Gypsy Rose were interviewed, right?
Yes.
I do recall seeing interviews with the actual doctors who treated her. And they even said, we suspected for a long time, and even amongst each other talked about it. But for some reason, nobody ever reported it. Or if they did, it never went anywhere. Actually, I think on one occasion it was reported, but they got out of it somehow.
Yes. So the neurologist did report her, as he was supposed to, for Munchausen. And what ended up happening was Gypsy and Dee Dee were able to talk their way out of it. Both of them.
Yes.
Both of them.
So, and I've seen women with Munchausen syndrome and factitious disorder, and it's really, how do I call it? They perfect it. It's so perfected to the point where, they can and they are able to get away with it for so long.
And let's be honest. We've all seen several cases of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. And how old are those children? They're young.
Yeah,
they're not even teenagers. Gypsy is sitting here alive in this video at this time at 23 years old. I don't believe that Dee Dee had Munchausen syndrome by proxy. What I actually think she had was just malingering. I think she was just a scam artist.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I would say that there is a lot of evidence for Munchausen, so I don't argue that point. I would agree with that point. But as far as the malingering aspect, oh, absolutely. And see, Munchausen wouldn't be Gypsy's diagnosis. That would be Dee Dee.
Exactly.
So Dee Dee is the mentally ill one. Gypsy is her victim. And with that, that means that Gypsy's, crime is Gypsy's own thing.
Exactly. I mean, okay.
What the hell?
Right, exactly.
Okay, so
let's keep going.
I don't know what happened to Not Your Mama. She was here for a second and then she disappeared. So
come back.
Wish I could swing that.
We gotta ask Michelle about
Michelle. Not your mama. Get back here.
I'm trying to think how much it costed. It's pretty expensive.
You can imagine, Disney's not a cheap place.
But it helps if you stay at a value resort instead of a moderate resort.
Okay.
Because all you're doing is basically sleeping and taking a shower there.
You're right, Gypsy. That's an excellent pointer and tip.
Yeah, you're doing other stuff. Especially in Florida, the last place you want to be is inside your hotel room.
Right. And even the hotels
Is that true?
in the value ones are wonderful. They have pools and they have
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, Florida's Florida, okay? So don't go too cheap because you don't want to be a meth
How
town.
far away is Universal from Disney? Are they pretty close to each other?
They're about 45 minutes apart.
Oh, okay, so that's not too bad.
Or 45 minutes in Florida traffic.
I've always wanted to go to Universal.
Like, so that's like an hour or an hour and a half with traffic.
Besides the Harry Potter thing, we have a lot of roller coasters. I'm not quite a thrill ride person, though.
I'll be interested to see how she does when she's released.
Me too. Me too.
Things like Despicable Me rides.
I don't
Shrek,
doubt that she's perfected her
Transformers.
conning skills even more in prison.
Have you seen any
Yes.
Despicable Me stuff?
And maybe Disney World and Universal will give her a pass.
Maybe.
You know, since she's given them such a glowing review.
Maybe she'll get a job as a princess working on a Disney cruise.
She does like to dress up.
And they have a parade.
She sure does.
And for the parade, they have you ever seen the movie Hop? It has the bunnies.
I was
The
gonna say,
Easter
I
bunny.
guess that is funny,
Mhm.
but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, we
Okay,
need to
well, they
have
these three.
excuse me, upon Gypsy's release, we will make the apostle David Taylor in charge of reviewing her yearly taxes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Next thing
Yes.
you know, we'll be watching the apostle David Taylor deposition 2025,
Exactly.
and she'll be like, "Do you know Gypsy Rose Blanchard?" And he'll be like, "No, I don't know. I never heard that. I gotta ask Michelle.
Exactly.
Did you know that you claimed her as a dependent?"
Bunnies, and they're kind of like the Secret Service bunnies that protect the Easter Bunny.
Okay.
And
Like the Secret Service?
right, and there's some girl bunnies, and they wear like little pink berets, and one has asthma, so she carries an inhaler. And I have
She's got asthma.
That's cool. Theme parks are fun. It's been a while.
I would not want to hear her
I've been on
sing.
vacation and- one of the-
I mean, we could play that video
Take vacation talk.
Which one is that?
from the documentary where she sings.
Oh, hell no.
Don't ever go to Disney World and
Oh my God. Can you do that again?
I believe America.
Oh, hell no.
I don't think she was paying attention to the macros at Disney, frankly.
I just knocked over my M&M's bag. That was funny. Oh, here she is. Not your mama.
Yay!
Welcome.
Hey,
What's happening, hot stuff?
nothing. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like so lost
Whoa, look at us.
Why are you lost?
because I don't know how the hell to work this crap.
Well, you're
just
doing
talk.
fine. Yeah, you just talk.
You're doing it.
Oh, did I connect and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're here.
You're in the show. Everybody
Oh.
can see and hear you.
Awesome. Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
It's been a
Thank you.
while. I haven't talked to you in a while.
I haven't talked to you in a while either. I'm just sitting here eating my Cool Whip. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'll sit here, Cool Whip, and raise you a wheat thin.
My God.
I'll take some wheat thins. Thank
What
you.
have we done? What have we done? So, not your mama. Do you mind telling us a little bit about your involvement in the Gypsy Rose case?
Oh my God, I really don't want to.
I mean, not so much your
That.
involvement, but just your opinions about the case. Like, what are your thoughts? Because you've
Oh my
corresponded.
God,
You've
I just-
corresponded with both, right?
No, not with both, just with one. I can just say like my opinion
Well,
would
that's what
be
we're asking.
that, well, obviously, yes. Let me finish talking, please.
Oh God, here we
And the
go.
sisters are fighting.
Um,
Am I
So
going to
my
have to make you
opinion would
guys
be-
wear the special shirt?
Hey,
what is
I'm-
the special shirt?
We can put both of you in a shirt that's too big, but it's one shirt. So you have to like.
Excuse me.
It's
I
like
have the mute button.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
All
I'm
right,
gonna-
sorry. Go ahead, Sandra.
Go ahead. We'll behave. We're gonna act
I
right.
forgot what I was talking about.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
you think this is your opinion on the case about
Oh, yeah.
Gypsy? What do you think?
Oh, I just think that Gypsy totally manipulated the whole situation, and just she isn't as innocent as everybody thinks she is. I mean, obviously, yes, she's a victim of the abuse that she lived through with her mom, but other than that, like, as a person, she was a scammer. Like, she was a fraud.
Yeah. Let's keep
December,
watching.
they say
Somebody
Christmas
said
is
get
beautiful. It is,
get
but
True
it
Tam
is
on the case.
Oh no! Oh no!
We need this solved ASAP.
Mom
Yesterday.
for Christmas Day one time, and you couldn't even see the floor.
Really? You weren't thinking Christmas Day would be that crowded.
Well, I thought since they showed the parade on the TV, Disney World Christmas Parade, that it was on Christmas Day that they have the parade. They
Fun
filmed it, like,
Blonde
2 months
says,
early.
listen, who goes and shaves the empanada? A freak. She's a freak, that's for sure. And you know what else?
Not
Girl,
only that, they had like violent intercourse with her mother's dead body right in the next room.
yes.
After he very rudely flung all of her stuffed animals to the floor.
Yes, to the floor.
Jolie,
To the-
that's my sister, my biological sister, not one of the other 77 that are running around the YouTubes.
Yes,
Maybe
I'm actually my own person. I'm not Mama Bear. Mama Bear has her own identity. All these people have their own identities. I can't be everybody anymore. It's exhausting.
Allie79, Sister B did correspond with Nick Godejohn. I actually did find that email that he sent you, Sandra. So if you don't mind if I shared it with them.
Oh yeah, it's completely fine.
Yeah, so I'll go look for that
For
now.
shits and giggles anyway.
Also, I think Mama Bear just broke the internet. Maybe Gypsy just needs a piece of cake.
And if you ever do get to go,
Oh, hell no.
go to Hollywood and Vine to Disney's Hollywood Studios and have dinner or lunch with an Imagineer.
Allie79, I actually did write Gypsy, but she never wrote back. Imagine that.
How dare she?
The ideas for all of the architecture, layout, the brains, and you get to ask some questions. And
You gotta ask Michelle for that, though.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pause to read this email. So Nick Godejohn has a history, mental health history. He's been diagnosed with autism, so he does have some issues. So keep that in mind when reading this email. But I think the email speaks for itself. It's super creepy. Okay, let me read it. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for the support and the positive email. I'm naturally optimistic. You stay friends with me, you'll stay happier for sure, my friend.
Oh my God.
Remember to stay positive and also to keep that head up. I'm always doing the same. It's just how I'm built and wired. You can do it too. Have a great weekend. Your true friend, Nicholas Mr. Smiley Godejohn. I mean, ding, ding, ding.
Motivational speaker, overuse of the smiley face emoji. Like, they're only allowed so many friggin' characters, and he wasted at least 37 of them on smiley faces.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cough up a lung, Jen.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to not be funny.
You make a bitch's respiratory system shut down.
Wait till you see the screenshots I got.
Yo, we need to get.
Are they real though?
They are.
She's flashing her t-shirt now.
At Disney's Animal Kingdom, I wanted to make sure that the animals were being treated right. So I asked him, I'm like, are the animals happy here? Are they happy like they would be.
Nick
in
needs
the
a couple
wild,
of pieces of
basically.
tape,
And,
says
Yeah.
Brennan.
Are the animals happy here? No, they're not happy there. They're in a friggin' cage.
Program that the money that they make.
Would you be happy if you were in a
Certain
cage?
things at Disney World, they give to,
Maybe.
like, say, Africa to build
If I was dancing in
natural
that
barriers
cage.
Okay.
from elephants to humans or something that can protect the animals,
Very cool.
even in Africa. So,
Very cool. Let's go.
and let's see what else. I have
Let's
some
see what
friends that are going to work for Disney.
Really?
What else, Gypsy? What
Girl
else?
from,
Tell us, girl.
From Springfield, or she was like, I really want to work at Disney. So she's like, I'm moving to Florida.
I'm telling you, she's gonna end up
And got an
working
interview,
as a
she's
princess
now
on a Disney
working at
cruise.
Disney.
Oh look, the apostle has joined us.
Yay!
I'd want to.
This is your next client.
What is she
She'll be
doing?
out in a couple of years.
Right now, I think
Yeah.
she's working at a
Hold her
restaurant.
down until then.
Michelle's gonna need to do her taxes.
Exactly.
Yes,
Gypsy has fuzzy math.
very.
Brennan, so they're waiting for the detective to come to interrogate or investigate or question Gypsy. So the guy at the door,
Is her
Is actu-
babysitter.
yeah, he's just babysitting her there.
Have you ever heard of the 501st Legion?
Because she's in Wisconsin. They're having to come from Missouri.
They're a costume
Yeah.
group that they're the people that dress up like the stormtroopers, like officially. And
I think
they
the
go to
wait, like the
hospitals
entire length of the
and,
interrogation
do
tape is
charity.
12 hours.
It is. It's long.
And like 10 of that is Gypsy napping.
Okay.
Exactly.
Very cool.
So,
So you go to hospitals and stuff, and that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, before next time you end up in the interrogation room,
so happy
just say, I
inside.
gotta ask Michelle. Don't even ask for a
Exactly.
lawyer, just ask for Michelle.
Ask Michelle. 1-800 Ask Michelle.
So is it the full
Yes.
outfit then?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
full armor. The only thing is,
Is it hard to walk in?
no, not really. The armor is pretty lightweight. They made it lightweight
Yes,
for me, but the
I agree.
helmet's kind of heavy.
819, whatever that whole long string of numbers is.
You have to wear some kind of
I believe she is
shirt
more
underneath.
intelligent.
It has to be like all black because at the tips of my boots, like right here, has some pink armor. Then I have right here that's armor.
Did she just pick at her
My gauntlets
socks?
light up. They're pink.
Ew.
Like, did she seriously?
Yes.
Chest plate. And I have a pink backpack, jetpack,
Okay. Wow.
and mail.
So how far do you travel to go to these hospitals? Or is it one main hospital that you go to?
Well, it depends on where our group, how many of our group is wanting to do it and
Okay.
who can do it.
Right.
Usually the hospital or the
Doing it,
organization
doing it,
puts in a request.
doing
we
it,
consider
doing
and
it.
see if it's,
We're
if it's something we
doing
should
it,
do.
doing it.
And then after that, we
They
check
send
to
a
see how many members are
request.
available, and then we do it.
She
And we
organizes.
do it.
She organizes charity events as well. So keep that in the back of
Yeah.
your mind for her resume later, Gypsy. I hope you remember all this stuff.
And we would be swamped.
I don't think she thought that far, Jen.
Talk to people and take pictures, or do you put on a skit?
Well, we usually, what we do is we put on the armor, and it depends what character. We're usually not
I love
allowed
how
to
she's
talk.
acting
Take
like
off our
she's at a
helmets.
picnic.
We're supposed to be in full costume.
Shall we skip forward to the actual
Yes.
interrogation part?
Yes. My favorite part though is how she's explaining that she's doing all of these things, right? To an officer who's supposed to be, we all watch Sesame Street, he's one of the people in your neighborhood and a helper, and never once mentions, hey, while I was doing this, I was under duress. I had to pretend I couldn't walk. None of that. Just,
Shooting the shit.
just shooting the shit like it's just another day in the life of Gypsy Rose.
She
YOLO.
literally she's acting like she's a completely new person. Like, she didn't even pretend that she can't walk. She didn't do none of that stuff.
Gypsy is the first graduate from my deposition school.
Alone again, naturally.
Here we go.
My boyfriend's house.
Oh, freak. I don't want to skip too much.
Doing all right?
Yes, sir.
Good.
So this is the detective from...
Well, Gypsy,
Greene
I'm
County.
here and I'm going to get a little bit of information from you. So, since this is the first time I've ever met you, okay? So, what is the correct
No, we're
spelling
not.
of your
Hold
first name?
on. Oh, shit. Now you made me go all the way back. We're not slagging anyone with autism. I was just commenting that Mr. Nick Godejohn has a diagnosis of autism.
Okay, sure.
Me and my mother are Hurricane Katrina survivors.
Okay,
And my birth certificate was washed away in Katrina.
okay.
And unfortunately, they messed up a long time ago. They messed up the paperwork, and it said 1991, but it's actually 95.
Okay. And
Oh.
that puts you how old then?
I would be really 19, but on here it's my Medicaid. My medical insurance has 23.
Okay, all right. So
Just
how
a little
old are
typo.
you? Let's get that.
19.
19, okay.
She's actually 23.
She's actually 23.
Yeah.
She continues the story that
Yeah, that's the story for
that's
everyone.
the story for everyone.
Like
yeah.
Medicaid typo, you know how they do
Yeah,
it.
you know, Medicaid, they don't look into that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
you know? So,
Gypsy, do you know your social security number?
Unfortunately, I don't. I brought my card with me,
Okay.
but it's at my boyfriend's house.
Okay, we'll get with that later then. All right. Now, how long have you actually lived there in Missouri?
In Missouri since 2006.
2006?
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
At least her memory is better than
Did you work
Jody's.
anywhere?
No.
it's much better.
All right. You ever had work since you've been in Springfield? Did you work down in Louisiana or anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have family down there in Louisiana?
I have some, but unfortunately we're not on good speaking terms.
Okay, all right. And now, do you have any family here in Missouri? I'm sorry, we're in the
Not
States.
quite.
Okay, I have,
Because there's
My mom
screenshots
lives in
of you
Missouri.
speaking to your dad and stepmom on
And
Facebook.
is that it, or do you have anybody else?
does friends count or not really?
No, like biological, like brother or sister, siblings, nothing like that? Okay, so are you an only child then? Okay, all right. What's some things that you like to do? I mean, what kind of hobbies do you like?
I love art.
Love
I
art?
I like to
love
dress
good
up.
Movies. I love animals.
I like to pre-cut duct tape.
Just different things like that.
Well, Gypsy, we are here investigating something, so I do need to talk with you about some things, okay?
I'm thankful because I have no idea why I'm here.
Okay.
Nobody
Oh.
told me anything.
Yeah,
clue.
that's fine. That's kind of why we're here to.
When
Well, sit
somebody
back.
says, I have no idea why I'm here, they know damn well why they're there.
Well, sit back there, Gypsy, because this dude's about to blow your mind with why you're there. Good thing you're already sitting down. Good thing that you're bundled up, too.
You about to have a Kardashian sex tape, Gypsy.
You're about to have a whole moment.
So, I am going to just read your Miranda just here real quick, okay? And as I'm reading this, if you don't understand something, I want you to stop me and say that you don't understand, okay? It's not being rude, it's not implied or anything, okay? And just let me know.
Okay, so I just have to say this. The reason why I mentioned Nick Godejohn's autism diagnosis is because I was prefacing the email that I was about to show, because he's speaking different and he's talking about different personalities, and it's a weird, odd email. So it's not, like a socially butterfly type of thing. So that was basically just a preface to let you know, so that y'all don't jump on that email talking about, oh, look at that psycho or whatever. It was just to say that he's a little bit eccentric, and that's fine. Don't judge it too much. It's just part of who he is. I
It
hope
is the
that
magic that
clears
is Nick
things.
Godejohn. Nobody's getting on to him for having autism. Nobody's making
Jesus.
fun of anybody with autism. Like, come on. I'm mean, but not cruel.
All right.
How much schooling do you have?
unfortunately, I was homeschooled, but my education is kind of scattered, so I have the basic of a third grader.
Okay.
Also
Do you
untrue.
know how to read and write okay and everything? Okay, good.
Not so much spell very good, but I could read.
Okay. How would you say your comprehension level is?
Good.
Good. Okay. Okay.
Dude, literally
You have the right to remain
25
silent.
minutes ago, she was giving
You can
travel
say
tips.
10 will be used against
Yeah.
you or law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer, have your lawyer present with you or you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any question if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Did you understand everything that I read you? Okay. Do you have a cell phone number?
No.
No, not at all. Did you have a home phone?
My mom's home
Okay,
phone.
what's that number?
417-833-8501.
Okay.
Y'all don't call this number, it's disconnected.
Do you ever do anything on the computer? Do you ever play games or anything on the computer? Do you ever mess with the computer or anything like that?
I don't really have a computer.
Okay.
No.
Lies.
Did you ever have a
Liar.
cell phone that you played around on or anything like that? No?
Lies.
Liar.
No laptop or...
No.
Liar.
Kid-
My
Fire
mom
anything?
didn't let me use mine because she was like, it's unsafe. So,
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Is that why
did
there
she
were...
feel like that was unsafe?
That's that why there was a laptop and 2 hard drives found and recovered with your belongings there, Miss Blanchard? Because you don't know how to work a computer because it's unsafe. All right.
Yeah.
Please go on.
But at this point, the detective knows
Yeah,
everything. So
they've already got the Facebook messages. They've already seen
Mhm.
all the not. I don't know about all how much of the phone messages that he has seen, but they've seen the Facebook for sure.
That's how they found them, through
Exactly.
the IP address from
Exactly.
the Facebook post.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tended to be overprotective.
Okay.
But,
Does she?
That's an understatement.
She was
Right, that's
overprotective.
understandable.
Tracy, she was 23 here.
I want to tell you that what I've got to talk to you about, if you're involved in this, then you need to tell me that now. Okay?
I'm completely 100% honest.
And let me
Oh,
talk
yeah.
for a second, okay? But if
You
you're
just
involved
told
in this,
3
then-
lies.
She said
this-
that like real quick.
Yeah, and this and being completely honest, telling that's lie number 4. But okay.
Well, let's just break it down. I am, she said, completely 100% honest.
You need to be honest with me, and you need to tell me now and not wait till later. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want you to understand that there's just some things going on that you need to be made aware of, and I think that you're aware of it, okay? All right? My concern at this point, let me back up with something. You're here, do you know where you're at right now?
Yes.
Okay, where are you at right now?
I'm at the Waukesha Police Department.
Okay. All right. And how did you lived in Missouri at one point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how did you get from Missouri to here?
Not about a week ago. It was
Yeah, this is the
I-
Facebook post.
Yeah.
Well, it all started when I met
That
my boyfriend,
Gypsy wrote.
Okay.
Okay. And we met on an online dating website. My mom had a laptop, and so I used hers.
Oh, okay.
Let me back up a second. For just a
Yes,
second,
let's-
okay.
yes.
Earlier when I said
Wait, what happened? Tell us.
Yeah. Let's back up. Earlier when I said this is where he's about to call her out. Look, didn't I just tell you to be honest with me? Now you just busted your own self in a lie because she just admitted to using her mom's laptop. After she had said no. And wait, I want to answer Lisa Avery. Didn't her mom actually have her convinced for years that she couldn't walk? No, that's not true. Gypsy always knew that she could walk. She's admitted that repeatedly.
Yeah.
be honest with each other, okay? I'll be honest with you as long as you're honest with me, okay? And I want you to understand that your honesty goes a long ways, okay? You don't want something in this nature to be like a big snowball. We'll use that as an example, okay? You don't want that snowball to be so big that you know how when you pack a snowball and it's real small, and what happens when you start rolling it down a hill?
It's bigger.
It's bigger, okay? And what happens if you start telling lies? They get bigger,
Bigger and bigger
and you don't
and bigger.
remember which ones you said and which
Right.
ones you told. And as soon as that thing gets so big, it goes down the bottom of the hill and it crashes into a lot of people,
Right.
okay? I mean, a lot of people,
But
right?
see-
It hurts a lot of people, right?
This is another thing that makes me also lean more towards the manipulation and the premeditation aspect of it, and that she's actually the mastermind of it, because the detective is doing all of the strategies that he's trained to do. He's trying to elicit information, elicit a confession, elicit something, get somewhere with her. But Gypsy at no point even appears to have psychologically lessened her defenses at any point during this interrogation. So it's just cold-blooded, cold-hearted, nope, denying it to the end. That's it. And if anything, I'm blaming him. I was just a victim of circumstances here.
Because it's so big and it crashes and hurts it.
Right.
Now, if you're telling the truth, that's not going to happen, isn't that right?
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of why I want you to be honest with me about this, okay?
Absolutely.
About some things, all right?
Absolutely.
So we need to, I'm here, okay? Because I don't think that this is something that you, the intention wasn't there. You know, I don't think you're a bad person. I really don't. I think that you're a smart person, okay?
She said, "Oh,
I
thank
think
you."
that you, you know, sometimes
She said, "Oh, thank you."
Instead of why would you be instead of asking, well, why would I be worried that you would be even thinking that I'm a bad person?
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, thank you."
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's.
you get dealt bad hand, and I think sometimes that's what's happened with you, okay? And I want you to understand that you need to be honest with me, and if you're involved in anything that I'm about ready to tell you, then you
And it's so creepy how the detective is trying to move in on her with body language and everything. And she's leaning in too. Like she's
She
mirroring
is.
him. It's like, whoa, psycho.
This is this is how you know that Gypsy is manipulative, because on somebody leaning into you like this is a dude that you've never come across ever before in your whole life, right? You don't even have a stepdad. Your mom is basically, she's been burnt in her life on men, right? She's kind of a man hater. That's just the truth. So has a negative outlook on men. Okay. But homeboy here that you met 2 seconds ago, who's also carrying a gun and handcuffs, is leaning into you. Your natural inclination when you meet a stranger is to lean away, especially if you've been locked in your room for the last 11 billion years with no way of socializing at all, because your mom kept you under lock and key like Rapunzel.
Mm-hmm.
need to tell me, okay? Your mom's dead, okay? Now, what I want to ask you is, your mom's passed away, okay? And she's deceased, all right? Now, what I want to ask you, did you have involvement in this?
Here comes her Oscar moment.
No. Hang on, listen to me for just a second, okay? I want you to understand something, okay? Remember the snowball that we talked about? You remember the pencil that we talked about? I'm going to demonstrate something with a pencil here, okay? Look at me. Look at me for just a second, okay? Sometimes people are going along, you know how you got a pencil? You got the lead here and you got the eraser right here, right? You know what I'm talking about? You've seen a pencil, right?
This is the weirdest metaphor ever.
And when you write with a pencil, you write your own story, right? Okay? And you take that pencil and you're writing along with your story. Well, sometimes some people make mistakes when they write stuff down, don't they? We've all made mistakes. You've made mistakes. I've made mistakes, right?
All right, dude, you lost me already.
You ever
Come
made a
on.
mistake in your life?
Stop it with the
I've
pencil.
made mistakes in my life. And hang on just a second. Okay?
I mean,
When
planning
you're
your
right,
mom's murder over 3 years
all of a
is
sudden you
hardly
make
a
mistake. What do you
mistake.
do with that mistake?
A mistake is like the time that I went to go make tea, right? So I put the pot with the water on the burner, and then I put the pot on the burner on the back burner, but I turned the front burner on, and I left the front burner on, and then I was like, what is burning? That's a mistake, okay? Plotting with your boyfriend, researching murders, cutting deck, none of that is a mistake, okay?
Yep.
I mean, and I am a firm believer in everybody makes mistakes. That's why pencils got erasers. Like, I'm all for that, right? Everybody does make mistakes. But this is hardly a mistake. This isn't jaywalking.
That's way far-fetched. Calm down, girl.
Take that pencil and you flip it over and you start erasing stuff, okay? And you erase it and you recorrect it. And you take that pencil and then you rewrite your history.
Dude, he could have broke her neck like a pencil stick.
Smash. Where's Kai? He needs to smash. Smash. Smash.
Story, okay? And I think that's where you're at with this tonight, okay? That you have a chance to rewrite your story.
She sounds like that
that's what you can do. Is you can
notification tone from ICQ from back in the day.
Sarah, I don't think you're a bad person. I really don't. I don't think that's you at all. And you're not out here, doing things that are so bad that nobody wants to tell you, nobody wants to
You're not out here doing things that are so bad. You're not knocking off liquor stores, robbing the 7-Elevens.
No.
Cheating on your taxes, right, Apostle? You're not a criminal. You're just a little bitty murderer.
What I do think is there's
with your one mugshot.
You and I need to talk about and why these things happen, okay? And that's where we're at with this, okay? Now, I want you to understand something.
Where's that pencil? Because I need some rewriting.
Exactly right.
Look at me, okay? Look at me for just
I
a
gotta
second,
do some fixing.
okay?
I want to erase this whole ass conversation. You done lost me.
Okay? And that's what you need to do, okay? You've got to help yourself, okay?
Why do the cops always say that? Help yourself. You know how you can help yourself when you're talking to a cop? Be quiet.
You know what's messed up to think about?
What?
As she's sitting here, crying, pretending like she doesn't know her mom's dead, her empanada's probably all itchy and shit because the shit that she was shaving is probably growing back now from the time that her mom was being murdered.
Exactly.
Come on, girl.
Oh, yes. Lisa Avery. Yes. We call those the Roundup brownie recipe. She sure did feed Dee Dee did feed her stepmother Roundup. And yes, as far as her mom goes, she was never charged, but the family does believe that there was severe neglect, and that's what ended up happening with Dee Dee's mother, which is interesting because you'd think that if she's perpetuating this whole caretaker thing, that she would take excellent care of her mother, at least for a while. And it's always been said that she didn't. But anyway, that's just what it is.
Hold on. People are laughing at my comment about her stubbles growing back or whatever. But there's a picture of that razor in the crime scene photos. And y'all, it's one of those cheap ones. So
yeah.
you know that made a whole ass mess. So.
It sure exactly. And she probably didn't use the baby powder deodorant combo that all strippers know.
I didn't see none of that in the evidence. Okay.
She didn't even throw it in the trash, y'all. She threw it in a dirty clothes hamper.
Now, and then left all of that DNA on there and everything.
Left all the things.
Everything. Now, yeah, the one blade ones, Mama Bear. So
look,
you can imagine.
For those of you bleeding hearts out there, if you're going to feel sorry for anybody, you better feel sorry for the empanada on Gypsy that she used a single blade razor from the Dollar Tree, for Pete's sake.
And this was her first time going at it too. So can y'all imagine?
Yikes! And I didn't see any shaving cream. So if she used soap, oh my God. Even worse.
Something. I don't know, girl.
What's going to happen is it'll explode. And that's what's going to happen with you, You don't want that, do you? I don't think you do. I wouldn't want that. So we've got to rewrite history. We've got to rewrite some things, don't we? Okay? And I think
I bet she wishes she could take back that single blade razor. Mm-hmm.
Well, this detective needs a bulletin update or something because he's talking about rewriting shit. That shit is on Facebook and it's still there. So you ain't rewriting jack shit.
Also, another good lesson
The
that we can
internet doesn't, yeah.
forget. The internet remembers forever. And this is an excellent life lesson to all of you folks who sometimes get reckless with the keyboard. I know that I've done it too. It's there forever.
Oh, Apostle. These lessons, y'all, these are valuable lessons for that. Apostle needs, look, I'd pay for that church.
Mm-hmm. Sign me up, Apostle.
Although you can keep the razor.
Right.
What happened with your mom that night?
I don't.
Twitter fingers.
Okay, you just listen to me, okay, sweetheart?
Oh my gosh, sorry. Mama Bear is making me laugh.
What she said.
She's got the Twitter fingers.
Oh, God.
You know what happened to your mom, okay? You know exactly. Sweetheart, listen to me.
Lots of
let's
numbers.
not go down that road of taking your pencil and writing a bunch of mistakes down. And then when you get to a certain point, that paper's gone, and guess what? You
Oh
can't
my
erase
God,
it.
get a piece of tape.
You can't erase
and
it.
get over
You
it.
want that? I don't think you do. I think you're smart enough to understand where we're at with this, okay? I think you know, okay? And I know that you know.
I mean,
all
for
right?
Cheska,
I wouldn't
I
be
don't
here if I didn't know.
I don't know anything about Greene County law enforcement, but I agree. He's a little, you know.
And I know the answer to a lot of these questions, okay?
Like,
I already
she's
know.
above
Okay.
his
I know them, and I'm giving you a chance
grade.
to be honest with me, okay?
She's like
Because
coder
you don't want
material.
this thing to
Uh-huh.
spiral out of control. Okay?
Let me tell you who
Your
should have been
boyfriend's
brought
in
in.
here,
Tammy Lee.
okay?
Tammy Lee.
He's in here, okay?
True Tam.
All right. And do you think that we've not talked to people?
No, I know.
Listen to me before you say a whole lot. Do not dig yourself in a bunch of lies, because what's going to happen, that snowball's going to get so
Oh,
huge,
here we go with the
sweetheart,
snowball. The
that it's gonna
snowball and the
explode on you,
pencil.
and you're
Let me just stop him right there with the snowball bullshit. She knows damn right what's going on. She knows damn right that Nick Godejohn will cut his left arm off for her. So she knows she can just blame it on him. And in my
Exactly.
opinion, at this point, she knew exactly what she can and doesn't have to give the detectives because she probably knew that she could get a deal testifying against him.
Exactly.
And she wouldn't mind doing it because guess what? She did just that.
Exactly.
And
Amen.
that's why she's getting out in 2 years. We have to deal with her out on the streets. And Nick Godejohn is in life or in prison for life, where they have, I don't know, in Wisconsin, they have the accomplice law, the party to a crime law, which, look, they were.
They have it in Missouri as well. They have it in Missouri as well. But let me say this.
She testified, right? And because of the mitigating factors,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just.
Well, she testified on, okay, she was actually called by Nick's defense attorneys. She testified on his behalf. She did take.
Oh, she did.
She did. She did take
Okay.
responsibility for her part, sort of, kinda. But as we go along in the interrogation, you'll see that she makes a lot of nonverbal. And I believe what she's doing here is she knows that she's in hot water, right? So she starts out with a lie, not to actually continue with the lie, but now she's forming a rapport, just as he's doing with her. And she's going to do a 180 and come back around to, look, sorry, I lied, but I'm going to tell the truth right now. So now she's back on the come up. She's a grifter. Her mom was a grifter. Her grandmother was a grifter. She learned from the best.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Ever going to dig yourself out of it. Do you understand me?
I understand.
So I want to know, okay, why?
How's she going to dig herself out of anything? All she has is a snowball and a pencil. Who is she, MacGyver?
Okay,
We would never.
sweetheart,
hurt
look at me,
her.
look at me, look at me.
Mhm.
I've got kids. I've been doing this for a long time,
I know, sir.
and I want you to understand something. Don't dig yourself that hole. Don't go down that path, okay? Because listen to me for a second. You go down that path, and what's going to happen?
I'm reasonably
What do you
sure
think's
that
gonna
going
happen if you go down that path? It's
that
not
Gypsy is not thinking about a path.
Tell lies.
okay.
I'm pretty sure she's like, at this moment, I wish that I could hire somebody to kill
What's
you.
going to happen is it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
She's probably thinking about the
You're not gonna remember the ones
babysitter.
that you've told other people, okay? Other people that I've probably already talked to. You understand that?
I understand.
Why?
Why? Would you like me to start from the beginning?
I only want you to start from
you're
the
so
beginning, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. I'm glad you're making
cooperative.
that progress, okay? I'm proud of you for that. But the first thing that we need to get out of the way
Lesson
right
20
now
is working.
why. That's the biggest thing. You know, you've got friends that love you
Of course
and
I
care
know.
for you.
I know, and
You and your mom
Yes,
have
of
friends
course.
that care for you.
I
And
know.
they're, you know what? They're down there, down the bottom of this hill with that snowball, and they're asking all these questions. They're asking why.
I know. I know.
Now, help me give them an answer as to why. Okay? You have to give me an answer as to why, because they are so concerned about you.
I know. I have a lot of friends in Missouri. I know that.
Okay.
And, I would never hurt my mom.
Okay, sweetheart, do you really want to dig yourself? You're digging
Oh,
yourself
here we
deeper.
go.
No, seriously, I would never hurt
Listen
her.
to me. Listen
No,
to me,
seriously.
okay? I don't play around with that, okay? I'm not going to play around with this, okay?
Sir, I didn't do
Listen to me.
anything.
Listen
She's
to me.
pulling the
Don't
Chris Watts. I just want them to be safe.
let that snowball get bigger, because that's what you're doing right now, okay? You have a chance. You have the opportunity right here and right now. Because once I walk out that door and that opportunity's gone, guess what? It's gone. It's just like when that paper's taken away, when you're writing that pencil, you don't have a chance to erase that mistake.
Oh, gosh.
Okay?
Here we go.
You need to, in your family, in your
What if I
friends,
burn that
you
piece of
have
paper?
many family members, but you've got a lot of friends. And we've talked to them all, okay? And every one of them want to know why. That's all they want to know.
Hi, Lynn.
They know they still love you. They still care about you. Listen to me for just a second, okay?
Bye, Lisa. See
All
you
they
later.
want to know is why. and I have to give that to them because they can't sleep at night. Because they want to know why. That's all they want to know. Okay? That's all they're looking at.
Amen,
Sir,
Apostle.
I have a million questions right now.
Okay?
And so,
And you know what?
God,
I'm proud of
a
you for
friend
wanting to
in
ask
me.
those many questions. And you know what? We can answer those, okay?
okay.
But we got to get down to the bottom of why.
Okay.
Okay? The why. And your friends are very, very concerned about you. They all love
Very,
you.
very, very.
Come
But
on.
guess what?
Sure.
Those friends are standing at the bottom of that hill.
I
And
understand.
that snowball
I
is
understand.
getting ready
You've
to
got a
crush them
snowball
because-
and a pencil. What you gonna do,
I
MacGyver?
understand things very, very clearly. You think
Ride that
it's me.
snowball to the bottom.
Do you think that it's me? I have always loved
Listen
my
to
mom.
me.
My mom and I are best
Listen,
friends.
listen to me.
Best
Listen to me.
friends.
Please don't dig yourself in this hole. And that's what you're doing. You're still doing it. Okay? Do you not think that we've already talked to?
Look, homeboy, your snowball analogy or pencil analogy have not worked. Why don't you step it
I'm
up?
going to come in here with
Yeah, like, come on, next
having all my
one.
things in line. Okay, I want you to understand that.
Of course I understand that. And
We need to get to the why. When we get to the why, then all these other questions I can answer for you, and we can move on with this.
Give her the cold-blooded
You're the person that knows
versus
the why.
Right.
You're the person that
accident
knows
or
the why,
something.
okay?
Right, give her an out that she could take.
You're the only one that knows the why, and your friends.
sir,
Do you really want to disappoint your friends?
no, of course not.
Okay, then why?
May I please speak?
Oh, she's like,
She's like, you want to hear me talk, mofo? Shut your mouth so I can.
real. She's like, look, dude, shut up. I would tell you if you would let me fucking speak
Right, exactly.
before I break your neck like a goddamn pencil stick.
Exactly.
Know what happened. I came here because my mother kicked me out of my house.
That's a lie.
She and I were having relationship problems. I guess she wanted me to stay a little girl forever. She didn't really like my boyfriend. And she was like, pretty much, if you want to move to Wisconsin with him, fine, go. And I packed my stuff. She
That
basically
sounds
wanted me out of the
consensual
house
versus.
before then, because we kept on having
Oh.
arguments. But I'm not a violent person. I would never ever hurt her. And
As she looks up.
and a lot of our arguments.
Meanwhile,
stemmed
there's a
from
picture of you licking a knife. Just saying.
And so I just basically chose to come here. I gave him money to come here, and I said, "Can you please come pick me up?"
He's had enough. Look at the
Because my mom's
detective.
taking me out of the house real soon, and that's when he asked his mom.
And she knows
"Can
it.
I stay with
Yes.
his mom and him?"
So
And
her
stepdad and
like
little
speech
brother.
is like
Mom said, "Fine."
speeding up too.
So anyway.
And her
I
animation,
don't
she's trying to
think
keep his
of it
attention on her.
He came to
Mhm.
Springfield, but I know that I gave him the money to stay at a hotel. And anyway, I let him know that.
Hey, hang on a minute, okay? We're going in a totally different direction here, okay?
We're going down the path of lies.
As Coder would say, that sounds like complete horse shit.
We're going down the path of lies. When are you going to get to the part where you tell him how you stole $4,000 from the safe that you in the room that you never went into? We'll get there. We'll get there.
Back to where we started from, okay? You listen to me, okay? Let's get back to the why. We can talk all night long about this other stuff, and I'll sit here and I'll listen to you, and I'll listen to everything. This investigation is very thorough, okay? And there's a lot of whys, and you need to answer those whys, okay? Give yourself. What about yourself? Give yourself the peace that you need. You need a lot of peace within inside of you, okay? You know, once you get this off your chest, you know, you're going to feel a lot better about yourself, first of all.
I can see it in your face,
And your
Gypsy.
friends, okay?
My friends know me as a sweet
Yes, you're right.
and as
You're
I
right.
am.
But you know what? Sometimes sweet people make mistakes. Everybody does, okay? You make mistakes, I make mistakes. But you know what? I'm glad you're not this person that's out here going around and doing this to a lot of other people, okay? I'm glad you're not that person. If you are, I don't even want to talk to you. I don't even want to be in the same room with you. If
I
that's you,
see.
okay?
So
I think what it is, I think there's a lot of frustration in your life.
She stopped at one.
You know, there's some things that you and your mom, you know, you've already said that your mom, you kind of had some arguments and you kind of had some strained relationships, okay?
But we worked
And
through
you know
it.
what? And you work through it. You're right, you do. But sometimes,
She can't
Okay.
answer for, yeah, you silenced her permanently.
Yeah, I'm tripping because he said, what did he say about their relationship?
Strained
Strained.
relationship.
You know what I heard?
Hmm.
You and your mom have a strangulationship.
That's what I heard too. That's what I heard too, because, you know, freaking Watts Island.
Yeah, strangulationship.
I'm
you
suing.
can get the better of people.
Me too.
Okay? And I think that's kind of where you're at with that. I think
Where's
that you're
Zuckerberg?
stressing your life because your mom wanted you to stay so little all the time. Finally got to a boiling point and you just said, you know what? I'm done. You know, no matter what, Mom, I'm going to go with my boyfriend. I'm going to do whatever I want now. You made that decision, okay? But we need to get to why this happened to your mom, okay? You know what? People make mistakes every day. You do, I do, we all do. We've established that.
Yes,
don't
we have
establish it every time because, you know,
ad
that's
nauseum
what
at this
is.
point.
It's just-
Yeah,
it's just
keep
a
it
mistake.
moving. Come
That's
on.
all it is, okay? It's not something that's so huge out here. It's just, oh my gosh.
No,
a
it's
mistake.
just murder.
It's a simple
Yeah.
little mistake.
My mom.
It's
Even Gypsy's like, yo, bro, what the hell is wrong with you?
Right?
What the hell? You're talking about a murder, bro.
Lord.
just a simple little mistake is all it was, okay?
That is Wisconsin speak.
You know what?
I don't know.
Except for he's from Missouri, babe.
If I knew the
No, I was reading Apostles'
Oh.
comments.
Oh.
what's going on.
Sweetheart.
My friend my friend had, I do have a phone, but it doesn't call people. I just basically used it for Yahoo messaging app, and one of the people that had texted me, I had texted him that I was leaving home, and he texted me, and he's like, "Are you okay? People have been posting some stuff on Facebook," and I asked him what post, and unfortunately the police came before I could even read what he was saying. So I guess he was trying to tell me something.
Okay.
You should
You
ask
see
Michelle.
That's what your friends, all your friends are wondering why.
Sounds good, Unjustified.
Even that friend that you're talking about is wondering why. Aaliyah's worried about you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Look at me. Look at me.
Aaliyah's always been a bully to me.
Okay, but look at me. Just
She's like,
Please,
excuse
please push pause. Please push pause.
Excuse me.
Aaliyah has always been a bully to me. She sure wasn't singing that song when she was on Mommy Didn't Dearest. Aaliyah, care to comment? You a bully now? Yeah. So this is the kind of gal we're dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
She threw her pal Aaliyah
She's very
directly into that
She's-
bus and ran over it with Apostle's limo.
The Mercedes one.
Mm-hmm.
For the VIP one.
Cut in half.
Very.
What about my Aunt Rachel?
Okay. Why did this happen?
I don't know.
You do know why it happened. Okay.
I don't know why it happened.
Let me tell you something. I walk out that door.
Did she have a heart attack? She was
Hey.
sick.
Oh, bitch, please.
We're not gonna play those games. I'm not gonna do that. That's not what I'm here to do.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
even let her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come
thank
on
you,
now.
Unjustified.
Then start
Get
being
tough.
honest with yourself. And start being honest with me. No, you're not. Okay? You're not a bad person. I don't care what
God.
anybody's ever said to you.
Here we go.
I don't care what
Next
your family's ever done to
strategy.
you.
I was her.
I don't care that maybe somebody's bullied you or made fun of you. Okay? Well, you know what? All that rage gets pent up inside.
But
That gets so overwhelming to anybody. I don't care if it's you, me, somebody else. And you know what happens? You explode. Everybody does.
I go to church,
Okay?
and I take communion, and I release all of that.
Okay. And that's fine. And I'm proud of you for that, okay? And that's something that you need to continue to do, okay? But there again, people make mistakes, okay? You know, Jesus got angry in the Bible, did he not? And
Yes,
flipped the tables over, right?
yes, he did.
Okay, so even he gets
Wait,
angry,
what?
Okay?
I don't
Jesus?
So all your
Jesus
friends
pulled a
will come down
Teresa
here.
Giudice and flipped
God only knows
tables?
why.
know.
Did he
They
holler
did.
out prostitution
They don't care
whore
about the details.
engaged
They just
3
wanna know why.
times?
And they're concerned for you. And they still love you and they still care for you. Matter of fact, there's still a lot of people there for you.
I know.
And every one of them's asking me, why? 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 Detective Hancock, why? Why?
I don't know if you even know this, but my mom had guardianship papers for me, because
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened?
This is not a medical condition. You know
Oh, I forgot they
It's not a medical
bleeped out
condition at
stuff.
all.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm hopping
All
off.
your
I gotta
friends
work
and family.
tomorrow, so I'm
Okay.
going to bed.
Bye, babe.
If I can't go
Thanks
home,
for
Bye.
thanks for
Thanks for
joining us.
stopping by.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye. Good
Love
night.
you.
Bye. Good night.
please tell me she
listen to me. If I can't go home and tell them why this happened, that's all I want to know. If I can't go home and tell them that, guess what?
What?
They're going to wonder the rest of their life. It's going to hurt them.
Please tell me she did not commit suicide. She had bipolar.
Oh,
and-
Gypsy.
Hey, we're not going to get off on that track.
Oh,
We're
Gypsy.
not getting off on that track, okay? You know what happened.
No,
You do know what happened. You were there, okay?
wait, no.
Yes, you were.
Wait, no.
You were there.
Yeah, you were there, Gypsy. We got your razor, girl. You sure were there.
I told you I gotta keep it out.
You're leaving stuff out. You know something, and you're afraid. You're scared.
I am afraid and I am scared because I don't know what to
So
do
has
on.
somebody threatened you?
What do you mean threatened?
Anybody?
What do you mean
think a threat is?
threatened?
What do you consider a threat?
Oh, let me grab that link.
I'm gonna kill.
Somebody ever said that to you?
Um,
No.
Yes, they have.
What?
And I know who told you that.
Nobody's ever said it to me.
So you're telling me you've never been threatened?
Well, once by a stranger at Walmart.
Okay, I'm talking more recently.
Wrong answer.
Okay. How far?
Minus
are you gonna let this
3,700 points from Hufflepuff.
snowball- How big are you gonna let this snowball get before it just explodes?
Snowballs don't explode. What are you talking about?
he's confused now. He's like, I don't even know.
I don't even know how snowballs act because I can't piece this lying liar mouth together.
Exactly.
And friends won't ever talk to you again
No, of course not.
because right now all your family and
Fun
friends,
blonde. Yes, it worked. Welcome.
Yay, welcome.
they're still supporting you.
Of course.
You know why? Because they love you.
I know.
And I've even had some of them tell me that they love you. They said, Mr. Hancock, when you go talk to her, tell her I love her. Tell her that I care about her and I still love her. I said, you know what? I will tell her that.
I will tell her that. I sure will.
But guess
I'm
what?
going to march right in there.
I'm a tell. You know, this detective isn't half as bad as the Grant Amato detective. I don't know if any of y'all have watched the Grant Amato interrogation, but that detective made me want to, oh my God, just punch him.
I just want to say one more thing about this exploding snowball
Hi, Jessica.
situation
Thank you.
because I can't move past it. Thank you, Jessica. What is this snowball? Was it made by Sub-Zero? Is it going to turn into a blade and pierce somebody's heart and explode them into an ice sickle thing that he does, you know? That didn't really come together. Hit play.
Welcome, Amelia.
Because they asked something else of me too. They asked me why.
Why?
I told them, I said, you know what? I said, this girl sounds like a smart
She
girl.
did that.
This girl sounds like a girl that, you know, she's going to be honest with me when I go in there and talk to her.
Boy, were you wrong.
Why? And then I can come back and tell you people this. And they said, good. Because we love her. Totally love her. So I'm telling you that your family and friends love you. And I'll tell you who they are. But we've got to get to a certain point before we can get on with that.
We can't talk about the love until we talk about the hate.
I know you do. I know you, sweetheart. I know you love your mom. I have no doubt that you love your mom.
Oh, come on.
I should have never left.
Good. Listen to me, okay? I know you love your mom. And don't you think your mom loves you?
Is that
Don't
how you
think
say
your mom
Crack's
is
original? Oh my gosh.
worried about you? Loves you?
I don't want to butcher this. Crack's original. Welcome. Welcome to the ward. I don't want to butcher your name. Oh God. Do we?
Okay? But we gotta get down to the bottom of why. Okay?
I honestly didn't do anything.
Oh, K-Rex original.
Who did?
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you.
K-Rex.
I needed help too.
We want to go back to square
I
one.
said Crack.
We wanna do that.
I was,
We're too far.
That's okay.
I was like, I don't know. Maybe that's like a code word for something. Like cracks, you know?
We wanna go back to square one. can I go back and tell all your loved ones?
Kristen,
and your
I
Oh, for
friends
Pete's
you've loved them,
sake.
and you told Mr. Hancock why this happened.
I'm ready to shave my empanada with a single blade razor. I
I
can't.
can't tell you why. They're
Oh.
gonna be sad.
They're going to have
Somebody
sad face emoji.
that protect you and want to protect you. And all of them have told me this. Everybody I've talked to says, tell her we love her. Tell her we care about her.
Yes.
Tell her we'll stick up for her. But you know what?
Ah.
Guess what every one of those people asked me? Why?
Why?
And I said, you know what? I said, I'll talk to her. I said, she knows.
Remember that time Nancy Kerrigan got busted in the kneecap with the tire iron? And she was hollering, why, why, why? That's what your friends and family back home are doing.
Doesn't mean your mom doesn't love you.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this, but please don't think I did it because I did anything to my mom because I didn't. Look, Nick and my mom didn't get along very good,
Okay.
Here we go.
but that's all I know.
So why do you think Nick did this?
I didn't say he did.
Sweetheart, I already know. I've already talked to people, okay? And right now,
He's like,
Yes, and to know Tracy Miller.
But because my mom didn't want us to be together, but I was getting on my mom's nerves. Her nerve medicine was running out.
Yeah, because you were taking it.
Then for me, sticking up for him every time.
good job, proud of you. You did a good job.
Stop interrupting, rude.
So she asked me to stay away from him, and I promised her I would.
Okay.
And
And then what
but then
happened?
she just said, well, if you want to go, go. I guess out of love she did that,
Okay.
because she wanted me to be happy.
So why did this happen to your mom? What was the reason for it?
I don't know. All I know is that
Why did Nick hurt her?
Yeah, she stole the knife.
Sweetheart, what was his reason behind this? And we're back to that why.
I can't see why. He knows I love my mom. He knows that she's the most important thing to me.
So why do you think he did this to her?
Because I asked him to. I mean, I don't know.
He only said something to me that he said that it's
Wait,
us
I need to
against the
find
world,
that razor picture. I'm not
Yes.
that he's gonna protect me no matter what, and that we were gonna get married and everything, and nothing was gonna stop us.
Okay.
I actually think it was like 2 years of planning.
Took care of that, didn't he?
What do you mean?
Might have even been 3. But they were together for 3 years,
He
so
never hurt her.
I think she
I mean,
started
he's very sweet. He's very kind.
laying the groundwork probably from jump.
I mean, he doesn't like police that much. He's kind of a
He doesn't like
radicalist,
police?
if you call it.
Okay.
But
Sweetheart, your mom loves you very much.
So what do you tell the police officer in the police station he doesn't like police?
Okay? But we're going to have to start talking about why Nick did this to your mom. And you know why he did this.
Y'all, I found it.
Don't let your
Oh
friends-
God.
Don't let those ones that
One
still there
second,
and got your back
please.
and still love you. Don't let them down. Don't do that to them. Because every one of them still love you. Let's not do that to them. I don't want to do that to
I
them.
honestly never hurt my mom, but I'm not.
But why did Nick hurt her? Now's the time to be truthful, sweetheart. No more lies.
The only reason I could make
Call her a sweetheart one more time.
because he wanted me to himself.
Okay.
Because my mom kept on getting in the way of us being together.
Sure she did. She didn't like Nick. She didn't want her little baby girl to grow up. She wanted to keep her little baby girl young, didn't she?
She said that there was something dangerous about him.
CC Clark, she got 10 years
Okay.
And she
with
said
parole
that
possible after
he's kind of
8.
like the head
Dama.
Right? You know,
That should have gotten her an extra
you hit it right on the
25.
nail on the head, sweetie.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take minus 682 points from Hufflepuff now for that
Yeah.
statement.
And for this weeping,
Yeah.
You should know what. Okay. And how should you have listened to her? Okay. Did you try to stop him? Was he too strong?
He was very strong.
Was it hard for you to try to stop him? It was very hard for you to try to stop him, wasn't it?
She didn't try to stop him.
Yeah, I see that.
Less than 40 the touch. You show right.
Did you try to stop him? Okay. Hey, I'm proud of you. Look at me. I'm very proud of you for that. Okay, this is about a step in my direction. Okay. How did you try to stop him? Did you try to pull the knife away from him? Was that a yes? I can't guess with your nodding, so that's why I'm asking you. It looks like you're shaking your head up and down. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. What did he do with the knife after?
oh come on.
She tried to get the knife. I missed this part completely before. I never realized she had said she tried to take the knife.
I'll tell you the truth all now.
Okay, good. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I love him so
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she just admitted to being in the room.
Maybe
I don't think that she actually tried to take the knife, but I do think she was in the room.
I know it.
How did you do that?
He was supposed to come and visit me,
Okay.
and I thought we were gonna go outside and we're just gonna sit together for a while on the porch and
Out
then
at your mom's house.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh crap. I don't know why the audio stopped, but this is the razor, ladies and gentlemen.
Could you maybe zoom in on it? There you go.
It is the one blade razor.
In a laundry basket, not even in the trash.
And a goddamn laundry bag. And you can see,
Cochina.
yeah. And this was,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And he came inside and he started walking to my mom's room, and I told him that
Good night, Apostle. Thank you. You have a good weekend too.
Good night, Apostle.
Was she asleep?
Always a pleasure.
and
Always.
I got up to use the restroom, and at that point, he had put me in the bathroom, and he had locked the door.
Okay.
And
Girl, she wasn't covering no ears.
The,
That's what she wanna calls it.
how does somebody lock you in the bathroom when the lock is on the inside of the bathroom door?
Oh my God, good call out.
Please make that make sense. You thought that I thought we were just gonna sit on porch and talk. No, you didn't. Dude, you literally had gloves waiting for him. You had said that you were going to pre-cut the duct tape. You told her, oh, here's the biggest cue of all, ladies and gentlemen. I totally forgot about this until just right now. Prior to this happening, Gypsy went into her mother's room and filmed for Nick the inside of her mother's room, where the bed was, and acted out the stabbing and sent it to Nick.
Mm.
His father, Bobby Godejohn, intercepted that got that later. I mean, he didn't get it obviously beforehand, or he would have stopped it, but he found it after the fact, along with after this video prep of what she wanted him to do. There was also some naughty bits, maybe a little home movie, just starring Gypsy and her smile, and that's it. So, yeah.
You heard your mom crying. You heard your mom crying. And you heard your mom calling out your name. But she was screaming. Proud of you, sweetie.
And he opened the door, and he was covered with his hands and blood, and he had cut himself on his finger.
You know if it was his left hand or his right hand?
It was, gosh, it was,
Oh, come on.
Okay.
and what happened was, I had, he commanded me to,
Commanded you.
Okay.
and
How did you do that?
I cleaned things up with wet wipes, and,
With like, what kind of wipes?
baby wipes.
Baby wipes? Okay. What did you do with those baby wipes?
I threw it
Like in the bathroom trash or?
in the garbage.
Oh, in the garbage? Okay. Is that,
He says, you don't know how he is.
okay.
Here we go.
I know.
You
I
don't
know.
know
Listen,
how
listen,
he is.
listen to me. I know. Go ahead with your story, okay? You're doing good. Proud of you.
And I was in shock, and then he took me to my bedroom, and he made me take off all my toys off the bed,
So it made you take all your toys off your bed? Okay.
and he raped me,
And he raped you?
and then after he was finished, he made me grab my bag, and
Grab your bag?
my bag to pack stuff,
Okay. What was in the backpack?
stuff like soap and things.
That you
Clothes,
pre-packed?
hotel clothes for me.
Exactly.
What did the backpack look like?
It's a black backpack that says Faith Book,
Faith book on it? Black backpack? Okay.
and a pink suitcase.
A pink suitcase?
And he
Okay.
put my clothes in there. And after that, we called a taxi.
Okay.
And
Do you remember what taxi company it was?
the Springfield yellow cab.
Yellow cab? Okay. Alright.
And
And
I know.
the other thing that's interesting about this taxi driver is she did testify at Nick's trial, and you have to listen to her testimony of what her impressions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard were.
But he said I had to, and he grabbed me by the throat, and he said I had to.
Okay.
And so that's why I did it. And we took a cab back to his hotel.
Where was the hotel at?
The Days Inn on Kentwood Avenue,
Kentwood.
North Kentwood.
Okay. So over by Glenstone Avenue? Okay.
It's like by the Cracker Barrel.
Oh, okay. Alright.
And we stayed there, and until we can get a bus, a Greyhound bus. But the Greyhound bus that he was going to take to go back to Wisconsin, it was too full for me. So, and he told them my name was Bella Godejohn,
Okay.
so they couldn't track me. And so we took the Greyhound bus, and we came here where we stayed for a few days at his parents' house.
Okay.
She took a plea deal, Brennan, too.
Because my hair is fully grown out, and he didn't want people to recognize
Does she need a 35C?
Where's that wig at?
Yes.
me back at his house.
We
All
got
this
some
is his
referrals.
here in Big Bend,
Oh, in Big Bend? Okay.
and I have money there. I have my social security cards there. I have
Yeah, you've got $4,000 there.
extra feeding tube there.
So you got all that extra stuff there.
Yeah,
Okay.
important things that I have to get back.
Okay.
What's gonna happen to me, sir?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, and we'll talk about that, okay? I want to get a few more things out of the way, okay? You said that when you were in the house, you guys were supposed to go outside. And him and your mom, I mean, what was him and your mom arguing previously?
She didn't know he was there.
Okay, so she had no idea he was there.
No.
Had they argued or anything before? Or, I mean, why did he? And we're back to that question of why. And I want you to tell me why he did this.
I'll tell you why he did it, because she asked him to repeatedly.
I wanted them to get along so bad. And I invited him to come in March to see Cinderella with me. The movie.
This past March? Okay.
The movie Cinderella. And anyway, unfortunately it hurt my mom's feelings because I paid more attention to him than her.
Okay.
And anyway, she didn't like him from then on. And I called him to try to talk to him. And he told me, I talked to him for a little while and was like, you're not good enough for my daughter. You're a creepy eye, and it's creepy that you were hitting on my daughter whenever we're going to a family movie. And he doesn't like his name to be dragged through the mud. And
is that something he's told you, or words that he's used, or okay? So he told you he didn't like his name being dragged through the mud by your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
it was his way of
they planned this whole thing. This whole meetup was planned mainly by Gypsy with Nicholas, because it's in the text messages that were shown at trial. So, like, mainly this whole thing was planned by her and agreed to by Nicholas. So if this conversation actually did take place, as Gypsy is saying that it did, I think I would be annoyed too if I had some mom on the phone calling me a creeper when your daughter is the one that set everything up, including the movie we watched, ma'am. So yeah, I'd be annoyed, but I wouldn't kill her. Which also, by the way, to be fair to Godejohn, he actually reached out to a friend of his and told this girl that Gypsy wanted Nicholas to kill her mother and that Nick didn't want to do it. And the friend blew him off and said, you know, she's probably not serious about it. He did in his own, as much as he could.
I think that was in her Facebook messages, right? I think that's part of the
Yes, there were
it
was Facebook messages between him and I think she was an ex-girlfriend of his who, again, Gypsy also claims that she spoke to and was warned off by this girl about Nick. Meanwhile, she's steady entertaining the BDSM fantasies. Don't be fooled, guys. Yes, things happen to Gypsy, but nothing that warrants what she did. Nothing excuses this. Nothing.
Do you know what he meant by getting just?
Don't be fooled by the rocks that she's got. She's
Yeah.
still gypsy from the block.
She's still Gypsy from the bayou.
What he meant by that?
She got that Cajun crazy.
What did he tell you?
He just said that she had bad talked him, that she deserved it.
And he says, did he say she deserves it, or did he say she deserves something else or something different?
Well, he
And
said that
you
he
can
would
use
have,
whatever word you want, you're not in trouble.
he said he would have done way worse if he didn't care about me. He said he wanted to originally rape her too.
Okay. Did you go in and see your mom?
No,
Lies.
I didn't want to.
Where'd that $4,000 then come from, Gypsy? Because it was in the safe. And Nick didn't have the combination to the safe. And the safe was in the bedroom. So how did that $4,000 get stolen?
Can you describe the knife to me?
Sharp.
Would it be like a folding knife, a switchblade, a butterfly, or something different?
It was a long knife.
A long
That's all
knife?
that's all I know.
It was a knife that you used for
Or would it fold
filleting a
up or
fish.
something different?
I don't think it folded.
I think it was just a knife with a handle or something different.
It looked like just a handle.
Do you know where he got that at? Wasn't from the
Oh.
kitchen at your guys' house?
I'm not really sure. Certain.
You're not really sure.
Do you know what he did with the knife? After all
He's not
this?
really sure where the knife came from, ladies and gentlemen, except for that she shoplifted it from the Walmarts.
Sir, I loved my mom so much.
I can tell you did.
I would have known. And I would
If you would have known this was going to happen, you would have never went with him. When you say you went with him, what do you mean by that?
I would have never gotten involved with him. I would have.
Never had a relationship with him?
And we've been in a relationship for 2 years and 7 months. And in that time, his exes have told me that
There we go.
he's very controlling. And he's into that thing, BDSM, the fetish thing.
That's a sexual thing? Okay.
And I agreed to it, I guess. And
I guess.
I guess I saw nothing wrong with him being a little controlling. I mean, that's fine.
Did anything ever happen here when you were in this state? Sexually, I mean, was all the sex that you had here in this state, was it consensual?
It was consensual.
Consensual, okay. But in Missouri, he forced himself on you. And when did that happen? After he killed your mom. How did that make you feel?
Horrible because it hurt.
Okay. Where'd you guys have sex at?
After
Natasha, Bake Cake has a question for you.
Yeah, as for her motive, I think that she was in on the scamming, and by the time at this point she's 23 years old, so she's grown. She has done a lot of her own scamming, and by this point she has this whole other alternative life that she's living online that she wants to further explore. Like, she wants to be a normal young adult, because she's a normally developing young woman, and she wanted to go out and live, but that obviously wasn't jiving with her mother's plans. And she could have left, yes, but I think that by this point, they were so codependent on each other that I don't think that she thought that she could really like make it without her. So that's why I think that she sought out, like, she went intentionally seeking for someone who she can attach to and use as a way to get out of her mother's prison, basically. But I don't think it was done in like a rageful way that she was just upset. I think that this was done in a calculated way, in that her mother became more of an obstacle for her. And she just basically was becoming more of a burden and just needed to be eliminated so that she could go on and live her life. Because I truly think that she thought that they would get away with this. I think that she thought that this was a perfect plan, and she's in Wisconsin. They're not even going to find her. And even
say my theory is completely not at all what Dr. B is. Not even close. But you're the professional, so.
Well, what's yours? But yeah,
I've said that I think that when Dee Dee got sick and had to be taken by ambulance, not once but twice at Disney World, which was in January, the January before the murders, I think Gypsy freaked out. I think she panicked. I think she thought she was going to end up being on the hook for the cons. And I think that she killed the only living witness who could testify to her complicity in the cons. I don't think that she trusted Dee Dee. I think that she really thought if they were caught, that Dee Dee would throw her under the bus and it would be her word against Gypsy's. And I think that that's what her true motivation was, because Nick was not the first guy that she tried to talk into killing her mom. Gypsy was not even look, Gypsy was at Comic-Con, okay, with her mother, and was busted, because Comic-Cons are held at hotels in their, convention rooms and whatnot. She was busted upstairs in a room alone with a grown man who Gypsy was was 18, I think, at this time. And the guy that ended up was banned for life, because, Dee Dee said, oh, she's in a wheelchair. She has the mentality of a 7-year-old. Well, I mean, 7-year-olds, you do the math. 7-year-olds don't do that kind of stuff. They don't think that way. So the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, Gypsy was looking to kill the only other living witness to their crimes. And it's further evidenced in this confession by how she does Nick, with alleging that he essayed her that first night, which is not true. There are, moving forward in the interrogation, she makes non-verbal motions towards the bite marks and bruising on her arms, as evidence of Nicholas being violent towards her, which is not true. This is something that they agreed upon. When Nick didn't want to kill Dee Dee, he sure as hell took her a long time to get him convinced that this is what had to be done, which is part of she knew that Dee Dee wasn't going to go for Nick. That's why that's why she set the entire meeting up at the movie theater in the way that she did. Instead of being honest with her mom, she set it up in a way where it was a lie and a deception, in a way to make her mom angry, to further her narrative that her mom is trying to control her. She set Nick up. She picked a kid who was going to believe everything she said, hook, line, and sinker, without question, which is exactly what Nick did.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have a thought though about if that's her motive to not go down for the crimes that she committed. I would think, I'm thinking, if, okay, let's say, Dee Dee went down for the crimes and she throws Gypsy under the bus. Yes, Gypsy is an adult at this point, but Gypsy still has that lifetime of abuse, and I feel like that she could have used that to legitimately get out of being complicit in any sort of financial or otherwise frauds, because she was from birth basically conditioned to behave the way that she does. So I think that for her, to lie and use all of that to get out, blame Nick for murder just because she didn't want to go down for a crime or fraud, you know what I mean? I would feel like it just feels like that would be drastic, I guess.
But the truth is, Natasha, she wasn't conditioned from birth. It actually started with a very innocuous scenario. I want to say that Gypsy was they lived at the grandmother's house. There was a trampoline. Gypsy fell off the trampoline. That is the first time that the wheelchair was ever introduced, and Gypsy was 9 then.
Right, but still, by the time the murder happened, it's undisputed that she did have multiple procedures done and years of,
Okay, she had multiple procedures done, but since none of the medical documents are available to us for us to read over themselves, I can't say and I don't think anybody that has spoken about this case, aside from her attorney, which he has attorney-client privilege, why would he tell what was going on? I would be very interested in seeing the actual procedures that she had done. I mean, okay, so the one procedure we know is she had tubes in her ears. Okay, that's a fairly innocuous surgery to have. She had dental work done. Again, lots of kids have bottle rot, which is what I suspect Gypsy had. Or perhaps I would even go so far as to say at one point maybe she actually did need the feeding tube when she was young because she had failure to thrive. And perhaps she had malnutrition that is caused her teeth to rot. Or it could be that she just had poor dental hygiene, or she was predispositioned to have bad teeth. That does happen. I can't say what procedures she had really that were unnecessary. She had the only one that I will say that I think was unnecessary is that she had 2 of her 3 salivary glands removed. That may have been unnecessary. I don't know, because the story has changed.
I think it started young. I think it started out young enough at a point in Gypsy's life where she did not have a choice in what her mother does with Gypsy's medical life, literally, because she was a kid. So that's where I give Gypsy that kind of benefit of the doubt. Like I won't say that she was in it since 9 years old, because 9-year-olds, yes, they're capable of deceiving, but they don't have the capacity to con.
Well, right. But what I'm saying is
that, at that level. But
what I'm saying is, I don't know that Dee Dee started the conning with the doctors. I actually think through everything from the family, right? From Rod, from Christy, from the cousin, from Dee Dee's stepmother, the grandfather, etc., and Dee Dee's siblings. I actually think the first mark was Rod. Okay, because I think that what happened in this situation, which I have to give Rod some credit here, when he talks about his relationship with Dee Dee, he is very kind about it. The truth of the matter is, they met at a bowling alley. They got overserved. He was on the rebound. He had just broke. Christy and him were off and on again, off again. Okay, they were off at this point. There was a one-night stand. Dee Dee got pregnant. Rod married her. He realized very quickly he didn't want to be married to her. And at that point, Christy was also pregnant. There's something like, I think, 6 months between Gypsy and her half-sister. So I think the con really started, Rod was the first mark. And I think that Dee Dee lied and manipulated Rod and said that that Gypsy had stuff that she actually didn't have. And when Rod would see Gypsy, she would be in the wheelchair. Do I think Gypsy was complicit in the wheelchair and fooling Rod? No, I don't. But I will say this. I think that from the time of Hurricane Katrina, this was the perfect clean slate for them. And I think after that, yes, Gypsy was most definitely complicit. That's what I think.
Yeah, but still, still, like, it starts with the mother's mental illness, because, I don't know. Like, I do feel empathy for Gypsy in that sense, in the abuse piece, but I absolutely do not give her any points for anything as far as I've looked into in the case.
And
so
I agree with you. I don't think that a child can create any of this. Yeah, it started with Dee Dee. Dee Dee definitely conditioned and taught Gypsy how to be a con. Absolutely, she did. Mm-hmm. Do I think that I think that after a while, when she was older, like in her teenage years, I think that Gypsy, on maybe a Stockholm syndrome level, realized that there was benefits to this con. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is, she meticulously planned this murder out and made it so. She didn't have to open that door. She paid for Nick couldn't have gotten to Missouri from Wisconsin without Gypsy. And it wasn't even the first time she'd sent him money. She did it frequently. So how can people think on one hand she was so restricted, right? Yet she has all the freedom in the world to be taking money and sending it to somebody from far, far away, creating dating profiles. Those pictures.
But that's the level of the con, though, because part of her mother's con is, but the thing, like, you know, she's trained by her mother in this, which means like she's her level had to evolve past her mother's in order for her to be able to manipulate her mother, because she got away with quite a lot. I mean, look, I grew up in a Bosnian household, all right? Like, our parents were strict, especially with the daughters, okay? Like, it's always, you know, in our culture, it's always like, you know, whatever. So I'm not comparing it to Didi Blanchard or anything, but as someone who grew up in a strict household, like, let me tell you, I would not be able to get away with having a whole ass secret computer and stealing money, like thousands of dollars. So for her to be able to get away from with that, her level of manipulation would have to be, you know, so whether she gives Didi a couple of extra pills, whether she takes out 20 here, 20 there, like, Gypsy's level of deception around her mother would have to adjust, I guess, for her to be able to con her, I guess.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Whose word do we have that these things occurred? Who's telling the story of what her childhood was like? Gypsy, who is a known liar. Really, what proof is there that all of these happened? All the things that Gypsy alleges happened. There isn't any. The majority of the procedures and the surgery she had occurred in Louisiana, which they washed away her medical records, her birth certificate, all of this stuff. So how do we even know that I'm not saying that it didn't. What I'm saying is, think about this logically. How do we know that any of these things occurred? What proof that these things happened is there from those days? Nothing. There isn't anything. It's just Gypsy's story. It's just Gypsy's story. And even in this interrogation, okay, she never, ever, ever talks about any of the alleged abuse, any of it, none of it, not a word. The abuse story, I'm telling you guys, I've looked into this case and talked to people who are friends with her family. The abuse story, the Munchausen syndrome by proxy defense, did not come from Gypsy. It came from her defense lawyer. It was an excellent and smart tactic. He buried that DA in paperwork. If that DA had looked carefully at that paperwork, he would have seen the truth, which is that Gypsy went to the hospital for 11 billion tests and very few actual procedures. Even the neurologist didn't do anything to her. Why? Because she was given tests. They came back with no result, meaning there was no physical reason for Gypsy not to be able to walk. Okay? So what I'm saying is, you have to take, if we're going to think about this case to prevent it from happening again, you have to think about all of the pieces and who's telling the story.
Well, right. I mean, of course, it could and should have been stopped had the doctors reported it, which, you know, that's the whole point of being mandated reporters, is if you see something like that, even if you suspected, you know, that's something that needs to be reported. And that's then left for whoever to investigate. But my point is, because when a child is brought into the world, they're a blank slate. Gypsy didn't have any other figures in her life to learn from other than her mother, the only consistent figure in her life. So there is no prior blueprint for Gypsy to function off of, but what she was conditioned and taught by her mother. So in that sense, I can't completely 100% say that she is on her own, complicit in this fraud, and is worried as kind of like a party and an accessory to a crime or whatever. But I think what I'm more talking about is the deeper psychological and attachment type issues. And now this is beyond the legal threshold, so it's more of like on the psychological side of it. So I'm not talking about legality and defenses. I'm just thinking in terms of psychologically, what the world looks like through Gypsy's eyes, and yeah.
So I see a lot of questions and stuff in the chat. So let me just hold on a second.
CC Clark, yes. Gypsy's mom, I think in the one of the documentaries, they talk about there was evidence of Gypsy's grandmother doing the same. So Gypsy's grandmother also having Munchausen by proxy.
Well, she never did anything to make that's the thing. Dee Dee didn't do anything to actually make Gypsy sick the way that most people who have Munchausen syndrome by proxy do. They intentionally make their child sick. What Dee Dee did was very different. She just made, and I'm not downplaying it. I'm just explaining that there's a difference. What she did was make claims of issues and supposed illnesses that were wrong with Gypsy.
Well, the feeding tube in and of itself is already like abuse, because it's, let's say it's unnecessary. Shaving her head was abuse because that was unnecessary. Like any sort of actions, regardless of whether or not she physically injected Gypsy or not, it's still considered under the diagnostic criteria.
I don't understand what Dee Dee could have said possibly without doing anything. How she could have waltzed into, maybe it wasn't the first doctor, maybe it wasn't the second doctor or the third maybe it was the fifth doctor. I don't know what magic combination of words without any type of tests being run that would have her having a feeding tube. Initially, I'm not talking about over the years. I'm simply saying that
look, Jen, let me tell you something.
Tell me something.
Let me tell you something, girl. You don't know what type of people are out here in these streets practicing medicine.
You are correct.
You don't know the type of psychiatrist that and I'm not bashing psychiatry. Let me just make that clear. But let's just say that currently in the United States of America, we have a huge ADHD problem, or shall I say ADHD misdiagnosis problem, where we have half of our kids running around on Adderall and Ritalin. So I've met people who have very, very questionable judgment when it comes to diagnosing and treating their patients. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was some fucking doctor that Dee Dee sniffed out in an alley somewhere who would have been willing to put that first one in. Because, let's face it, I mean there are irresponsible doctors. Absolutely. You can doctor shop. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the teeth thing. Max keeps bringing up her teeth. I don't know, Max, why her teeth were removed, and neither do you. What I'm saying is not everything that was done to Gypsy may have been
unnecessary. There could have been a valid reason for her teeth
Oh, I'm
being
sure.
removed. What I'm saying to you is there are many instances over time that show that Gypsy was aware of her age, aware that she could leave, because she did several times. Okay. And I don't know why, and apparently neither does Gypsy, why she never just stood up and walked. She always knew that she could walk. Always.
Yeah. Tracy made a point in chat. She said that she's a survivor of child abuse, and she thinks that Gypsy was most definitely abused. And she said, my mom made me want to commit suicide. And, I'm sorry to hear that, Tracy, but
I am too. That's awful.
And I think that's, a lot of times that happens with kids who grow up in abusive families. Before they think about murdering their family, it would be more, the more common thing is to think about, putting your hand on your own self before you do on someone else, right? So I guess that's another point of data, I guess, to consider in this whole mess of information that is this case.
I mean, it is, at the end of the day, I don't believe that Gypsy killed her mom merely as an escape. I think there was a lot more to it. I think it was more involved than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying she absolutely wasn't abused. What I am saying is some of the stories that Gypsy herself has told are either straight out lies or embellishments. Not that she wasn't abused. Please don't misunderstand me. I don't know. I can't say it enough. I'm just saying that we have a historian here who is not a credible historian. She is a liar.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can't, and the other things that I wanted to say is that
I'm sorry, Tracy, to hear that.
I am sorry, Tracy. Dee Dee didn't deserve what she got. Okay. This woman was stabbed brutally 17 times. Okay. She had 6 stab wounds in her back that perforated her lungs, her liver, her left ventricle. There were 2 deep stab wounds on the back of her head on each side below her by her ears. She had 2 large incised wounds that were so deep they cut to her cervical spine at the C5 and C6. And then she had, so that's on her back was 6 total deep stab wounds. Okay, of the 17 total. 2 of them were two other deep ones were behind her ears. So that's 8 total. The other 9 stab wounds were described by the medical examiner's assistant. Actually, his for real's title is, so I can be accurate here. He's the chief forensic.
She's checking her pictures.
I am. Let me get my pictures. He was the chief forensic investigator with the Greene County Medical Office. His testimony is the other 9 wounds were more like scratches. They were not deep. They were very superficial. So you tell me that the same person did both the deep and the superficial. And they all occurred at the same time. Okay. Gypsy has sworn up and down she wasn't in that room. Okay, well, the safe was in the room. She also admitted in jail while she was awaiting being transferred to prison. She admitted to one of her cellies that she did go in the room, that she cleaned up blood from the room. There is a picture of, some people call it a V. To me, what it looks like is if you took your index finger and your thumb, and you made an L like that. But the way it's placed, it does sort of look like a V, but it looks like somebody put their hand smeared in blood on Dee Dee's back of her thigh to stand up. Nicholas didn't clean anything up. Gypsy admitted that she did.
I don't know if this was if at the time that I was going through this case, but I don't know why, but for some reason I remember wanting to look further into whether or not, because I remember thinking that they might have even had sex in that room with her mother's body.
I think that it's all
Good
very
night,
possible.
Tracy. Thank you for being
Tracy,
here.
thank you for being here. I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I know I'm not saying that child abuse wasn't a factor in this crime. That's not what I'm saying. I think you're misunderstanding, or else I'm miscommunicating very badly. And I don't want you to leave thinking that that's what I'm trying to convey. I do think that it played a part, but I don't think it was the only thing.
No,
I think there were layers to this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
That there were layers to this, that wasn't the only
No
situation going on here.
I think Gypsy was powerless. She was powerless in her situation. And eventually, in order to survive her situation, she turned into a monster. Not everybody does that, but some people do. And she was one of them.
That's exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. What happened is, through evolution, so it started out with Dee Dee's mother. She was a grifter and a scammer who created Dee Dee, who was a better grifter and scammer than her mother was. And then Dee Dee created Gypsy. And to some extent, Dee Dee's mother had involvement in the way that Gypsy was raised, because they did live there off and on for, for several years before, they moved to Missouri. So what I'm saying is, it's a very thick layer of dysfunction.
We went back to the hotel, and he kept telling me that everything was going to be okay, and everything that he did just for me, because he worships me, and he wanted us to be together.
He wants you guys to be together, told you everything would be fine. Mm-hmm. What did you think that he meant when he said that?
I thought he said he wanted to marry me.
Okay. How did that make you feel when he told you that?
Happy.
Sure.
Because we talked about getting married before.
But you knew your mom was dead at that time. Is that correct or not?
That is correct.
That's correct. Okay.
I wanted to protect him. But at the same time, I don't want to go to jail.
Okay.
Because I didn't do anything wrong.
This is why, from the very beginning, when I talked to you, that I said, your involvement in this, and you need to tell me, okay? Because I don't want you lying to me. I don't want you leaving stuff out. Okay? What?
And that's one thing with let me just make sure I'm not muted. No, okay. One thing with such early abuse is that the capacity to attach to others is kind of hindered, in that self-preservation becomes the main goal for the psyche. So a lot of, again, personality traits and personality disorders or symptoms or syndromes, whatever you want to call them, however that manifests itself, is gonna be selfish, is gonna be narcissistic, it's gonna be detached from others. That's why it's easy for Gypsy to sit and lie to a detective and sleep in the interrogation room and nap, because you kind of you detach that. So you only exist in this kind of omnipotent bubble in order to self-preserve. So, yeah.
And I think to me, in my opinion, the scariest thing about this whole situation is that Gypsy is going to be free in a very short time. And she does not believe that she needs any type of therapy. She has refused it. She doesn't want it. She says that she is perfectly fine, perfectly well adjusted. Everything is great. Now, that could be part of what happened to her when she was younger. I don't know. I only know what she said. But for her not to get some type of therapy and resolve whatever the issue is, or all of the issues are, and get down to it within herself, I worry for her to be a productive member of society. I don't know how she's going to function in society, because let's be honest, she hasn't ever really functioned in society.
Correct. That's another scary thought, that after prison, she's just kind of going to be thrown back into society, and whoever is vouching that they're going to care for her have no freaking clue what they're even in for. So I don't know, but in my opinion, as far as Jessica asked the question, do we believe that the punishment fit the crime? In my opinion, I don't think so. I think that she should have gotten life, just like her co-defendant. And I think that, what was the other thing that I was going to say? Or if she got 10, then Nick should have gotten 10 too. If that's how if that's how you're going to want to look at it. As far as, abuse and mental illness being a mitigating factor in the case, I would argue too that, as having worked in a male and a female prison, state prison, I've personally met many individuals with, how should I say it? Who are very mentally ill, who are serving maximum sentences for lesser crimes than murder, that were definitely mitigated by their mental illness, or their mental illness played a role in it. So in terms of overall, do I feel like the punishment fits the crime? No, I don't. So.
I don't think that. I agree with you. I don't think that the punishment fits the crime, especially when you have all of the evidence, you look at everything, and I've never seen a case, and I've watched Snapped I watch all kinds of stuff, okay? And Snapped, they do have situations of women who are products of domestic violence, and they don't actually do they don't commit the murder themselves, but they have somebody else do it. And guess what? They're serving the exact same sentence as the person who actually wielded the weapon. And I don't think that, I think that Gypsy should not only be in prison for longer than what she's received, I think that Nick should have less time than what he received, because Nick didn't come from a great background either. He was neglected. His autism wasn't, on the one hand, he had his dad who said, you don't need to take medication for anything that you have. Your medicine is stupid. And so he had a diagnosis of autism, and he was on the spectrum, okay, but nothing else beyond that. And he did show signs of psychosis. He was put in involuntarily into a mental institution, and nothing was done as far as follow-up with him. He never received any further psychiatric care. His dad told him, you don't need medication. His mom abused heroin his entire life. He didn't have a great situation either. And one could even argue, which they did try to argue at his case, at his trial, unfortunately, they just didn't do it effectively, is that because he's on the spectrum, he doesn't have the thought process to form deliberation as described in the premeditated murder part. You can argue, yes, he definitely premeditated because it's evidence through the text. But part of that premeditated first-degree murder is deliberation at the time of the murder. And I don't think that because he is autistic and his thought process is different, I don't think that he actually knew that he had a choice. I think he, in his mind, and this is evidence from things that he has said, is that, frankly, he made a promise to Gypsy that he would do it, and he was going to fulfill that promise because that's what he gave his word, the end. I don't think he thought there was another way, but he was incredibly violent.
Yeah. No, there was definitely a deviant side to him. I mean, he was, before this crime, he did have like a sex offense for masturbating in a McDonald's for like 9 hours or something like that.
Well, he wasn't masturbating for 9 hours. He was watching. Okay. There's a lot of.
Well, I was going to say, first of all, I want to talk to this McDonald's staff who let this guy sit there for 9 hours before reporting it.
Exactly. And if they didn't, the thing is that they are not the ones that it only became an issue because a patron said something. How is he sitting there for 9 hours using the McDonald's Wi-Fi and, watching porn and nobody noticed? I can't tell. Look, I wasn't there. I do know that on Nick's side, his father has said that that's not exactly what happened, that he was like defragmenting his computer, and he did reach down to itch or adjust, one of the two, and that's how it got to where it was. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's what they all say, but
exactly. I'm just saying.
Denise, wait, hold on. Was it Denise?
I mean, the charges on his record, so they must have had more proof than, just
Denise said, what would she ever do outside? She can't work. She has never been taught any skills. I don't know if she could ever even live alone. See, now that's where prison comes in, because in prison, there are programs for people like her. Mm-hmm. So in prison, she has earned her GED. So she now has, I think she even had opportunities to take college courses. I don't know what she did.
She doesn't have her GED.
Oh, she didn't? I thought that's what she was talking about.
No, okay. So she is, she's not done all the things she needs to get her GED. But that was 3 years ago or 2 years ago. She may have it by now. Last I heard, she hadn't passed all the parts, and she wasn't really applying herself. Yeah. I don't know if that, I'm only reporting the news. I'm not.
And wasn't there also some, because I know they, in some women's prisons, they have like cosmetology classes. So I don't know why I have like a vague memory of her wanting to do something like that.
I know that she talked about, she sort of talks about prison like it's one big, like camp.
It is. It's like a
for her
dorm.
For her, like she's having the time. She's having the time of her life. She's,
live on the 10th floor.
Not had to put in work. She doesn't have to click up. She just pretty much, gets paid. She pays her security through commissary. I think
people with antisocial personality actually. Well, let me backtrack. People with very dysfunctional childhoods actually thrive in a structured environment. So it doesn't surprise me that she's just, having a grand old time.
I mean, look, the people that should really be concerned for their safety when she gets out are Rod and Christy, because
I agree.
Gypsy has a lifetime of resentment.
I agree.
So when she says in this interrogation tape, and there's also the narrative that's been put out by the media too, that they didn't have a relationship, that Dee Dee kept her from speaking to Rod. That is not the entire truth. The truth of the matter is she did have an online relationship because there are messages, posts, comments that she's made between, so she had some communication with them. And at some point, Rod and Christy were paying for Gypsy to attend Catholic school, a private school, or at least that's what they told they were being paid for, that they were paying for. Whether, I don't know. She does talk about taking communion, which is a Catholic thing. So I don't know if she did go to Catholic school or not, because if she's ever been asked that directly, it's never been shown anywhere. So I don't know if that's true or not. I just know what Rod and Christy have said. They're also the ones that went to the house and cleaned it out.
And Rod is her dad and
her biological father, and Christy is her stepmother.
Yeah.
But she has a lifetime of resentment built up for her father and for Christy. And Christy will be the first one to tell you, to her credit, that when they first started speaking to Gypsy after her arrest, she lied to them as well, multiple times, about multiple things.
Yeah.
And maybe since she's no longer engaged, that got called off like 2 years ago, something like that. 2 years ago. I know that the fiance was her. She said she didn't need therapy. She didn't need any help, yada, 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 because her fiance was all the help and therapy that she needed. So I don't know if that is from her mind.
Sounds functional already.
Right. I don't know if that is, if she's changed her mind on that or anything like that. But the people that I would listen, if I were Rod and Christy, I would be worried that I was going to get some Roundup brownies. I would sleep with one eye open. I would be afraid. I would be afraid.
I agree. So overall verdict, yeah, girl, you a mess.
I think, yes, exactly. And I think the really huge takeaway from this is that situations like these are complicated, and they're not just black and white. And to have a different, for in my mind, when I'm saying things that I feel are an argument for some complicity on Gypsy's part, right? I'm not saying that means she was complicit totally in all the scams, like even when she was little. But I'm just saying we have to look at the entire picture. And I think a lot of this is on society as well, because I bet you that there were people around Gypsy and Dee Dee who interacted with them more than once and felt that something was not right. And I think that we as a society need to do better for kids. If we see something, we should say something.
I agree.
I think that's the biggest takeaway out of all of this, really. And I don't think that when she gets out, she will stay out. She does have a very, very entitled, a huge sense of entitlement. And the latest debacle is that one of her cellies, or one of the people she was in there with, they've become friends, and the girl does updates from Gypsy on TikTok. Okay. And it came out public. There was a big, kerfuffle. And Gypsy's response was something to the effect of people being jealous. She has a nice ass and a nice boobs, and just all about her body. And that's not even the first time she's written a nasty ass email like that. There's been several that have had that same connotation and tone. So
Summer Moon says, let's say a doctor prescribed medication, but parents refuse to give it to the child, thinking it's unnecessary or child was misdiagnosed. Someone out there would say the child is abused because wasn't given meds. Not necessarily. If you take your child and you completely disagree or whatever, and you don't want to give the medication right away, whatever, that's fine. That's up to you. But if there's that level of maliciousness, and if you don't take the next step, so let's say you take your kid to the doctors because something's wrong, and you get the wrong medication, you think it's not the right medication, you don't stop there. You get a second opinion, you get a third opinion, you get a fourth opinion. Well, maybe not four. Let's say you get a second opinion, and you figure out why there is an issue. But you don't just take it upon yourself to say, no, this medical professional is wrong, therefore I'm going to take it upon myself to treat or not treat my child. That's, I think, irresponsible. Can it be abuse? Yes. But again, depending on the situation.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And I will say this for Nicholas. So the time that he was put in the mental institution, I believe that he was a legal adult. Okay. So they don't have, his parents didn't, they're not together. They didn't have a power of attorney. And that's the other thing. Nicholas spent time bouncing back and forth between his mother and his father's home, not like for visitation, like for living purposes. Okay. But proof of the fact that Nick is not capable of really living on his own or seeing to his own needs is what's happening in prison as we speak. This is somebody that has to be told and threatened with punishment to bathe. He doesn't want to, he does not, he functions, but he would likely probably always have to have some type of supervision. I don't think that he would have ever been able to live successfully on his own without it. He would have needed, a structure, a support system.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baked Cake. That means a lot because I don't want to ever be like abuse shmoosh because I don't feel that way. I know how profoundly what happens in to a child affects them throughout their life. I absolutely understand that. We all, some of us all have, not all of us, but I think everybody is damaged in one way or another. Some of us are more damaged than others.
Yeah, well, hi, Tammy and Tammy's friend in her shared AirPod. Yeah, I don't think well, I also know you a little bit longer, Jen, but I didn't hear it as you dismissing the child abuse completely. So yeah, I didn't want anyone to think that either.
This whole night has taken a weird left for me because I absolutely intended to roast Gypsy, and I had put away this case a long time ago. I walked away from this case like 2 years ago and never really looked at it again. And I only really got involved in the case because of Nick's trial. I watched it every single day, and I was shocked at the way he was treated versus it was shocking to me, and I felt for him, and he is appealing, and I hope he's successful, but I didn't realize I still had such like strong feelings about it. I thought I put that away.
She does elicit a lot of that
Yeah, she does. She elicited feelings that I thought that I didn't have anymore.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. This is a complex case. Very, very complex.
Very.
And so is the next case we're about to take a deep dive into. Should we tell them, Natasha? Should Allie post the link?
Yeah, I think we can do that. Absolutely. So
okay, you do it.
Well, our Jenn Lou, as you may or may not know, but she's at least my go-to expert for the West Memphis 3 case. So we will be starting a deep dive into that case, and Jenn Lou will lead the path. And for the West Memphis 3 case and other cases that we'll be covering in that format, Jen and I have a separate channel that we started. So the West Memphis 3 case deep dive will start on May 5th with the first episode. And May 5th is also the, 28th? Did we
Yep.
establish? The
Yes,
28th
28th.
anniversary since the murders of the 3 little boys. So on May 5th, West Memphis 3 deep dive with Jenn Lou. She's going to walk us through everything. So, that channel is called Jen.
The Ward Case Studies.
There we go. Yeah.
Mama
so-
Bear's getting the link, she said. Hold on while I choke. Mute my mic.
Okay. So, yes, this is going to be very, very good. West Memphis 3 case is very complex. I hope she didn't actually choke. And again, like I said, Jen is very knowledgeable in that case, and I can't wait to get into it. Oh, she's back. Hi.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. I don't know how to work the StreamYard, so maybe don't trust me on the West Memphis 3. It's far more complicated than the StreamYard.
No, yeah, you'll be fine. You will be fine. And then, so that's exciting. So the first episode is May 5th. So we'll talk about it more by then. We'll drop the link every so often.
So
But
you guys can go over there and please like and wait. I guess there's nothing to like, but just subscribe.
yes. And
So
also
used to doing that.
Also, for those of you who have been waiting for a long ass time for the Kurt Cobain series to finally continue, well, I'm pleased to announce that I will be starting that tomorrow. So tomorrow will be the next episode, and this one will start talking about what's called a psychological autopsy, and we're going to walk through the case of Kurt Cobain as if we're conducting a psychological autopsy. So that's actually the goal for me personally for this presentation, is to just compile like an actual psychological autopsy on Kurt Cobain. So I thought it would be interesting to do it together as we go through it. So that's tomorrow, the first one. So we got a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Sorry, I was
else?
getting the link. Hold on. I have the link. Hold on.
Oh, I think Mama Bear got it.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she got it.
Okay. Well, but I was so proud of myself. No, I think that's it. I'm really, 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 really excited to hear your Kurt Cobain, because you know how that's another one that I feel passionate and strong about. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited for that. I cannot wait. They want to know when. So is Kurt tomorrow? So Kurt is tomorrow.
I already have my thumbnail. What do you guys think?
I want to do it tomorrow. I'll listen. You just say the word, and I will be there. Period.
Well, hold on. I already set a StreamYard up, but I haven't committed yet to the time. So
I like the thumbnail.
Oh, thank you. It is tomorrow for sure. I just haven't decided yet in terms of whether I want to do it in the afternoon, or if I want to do it like towards the evening. But I think afternoon probably. Well, see, that's what I mean. I don't want to. I'll announce it tomorrow morning. So, but tomorrow for sure.
You'll know when you know.
Y'all, you don't even know how my head is constantly just I got 11 billion tabs open in my head.
I know. That's how it is with it. Look, this roast was kind of, I guess, is going to go the way that it was going to go. First of all, Natasha's working on the Kurt Cobain stuff. I'm working on the West Memphis 3 stuff. And all week long, we've both been bugging poor Mama Bear, poor Caffeine Q, poor Samantha Dunn, poor Michelle about, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I don't know if I should do this or this or this or this. And they're all in there like, you girls are going to be great, which is wonderful. But both of us have been like driving I've been driving my husband crazy with it. He's like, just do it. Say whatever you're going to say.
I can't even tell you if I showed you guys the condition of my files on my laptop, you'd be like, all right. Because I am literally Stephanie Lazarusing this Kurt Cobain thing because I got 10,000 pictures and I will need more than 11 DVDs for this shit because...
Yeah, I went old school and wrote words. Like, obviously, I wrote words. I didn't draw hieroglyphs or pictures. See, this is what's happened to me. I wrote words. I literally wrote down, like, the outline and the stuff that I want to cover. You should see I think I'm up to at least 11 billion, 1100 scratch outs where I've started over. It's been a mess. It's hard.
8191 says psychological autopsy needs definition. So one of the pioneers in developing psychological autopsies, the idea of psychological autopsies, defines it as a psychological autopsy is a reconstructive study of a descendant's behavior, personality, motivation, and frame of mind at the time of death. And in a lot of cases, psychological autopsies are very extensive death investigations, and they're used in deaths that might have ambiguous, undetermined cause of death. So in Kurt Cobain's case, the official cause of death is suicide. But obviously there's a lot of conversation that, Kurt Cobain was murdered and it wasn't a suicide. So a psychological autopsy would be ideal for something like this, where it's a branch of victimology where you study the victim and you get into the frame of mind of the victim at the time of death, and then you determine the likelihood of whether or not it was suicide, and then if there are different scenarios. So for example, in Kurt Cobain's case, a lot of people say that Courtney was involved, yada yada yada. So that would also be taken into account when you do a psychological autopsy. So based on the evidence from the investigations and the information that you have, you would then consider any other theory and see how that would fit in terms of what you've learned about your victim through your psychological autopsy. So I think it's a great way for us to look at this case in a more structured way, but also in a more packaged up way. So it's more, oh God, quote unquote professional, but also well researched. Let's just say that, well researched. So
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm not aware of a psychological autopsy being done on Kurt Cobain. I'm not aware. So if there hasn't, this would be the first one. So I'm only aware of one being done on Elvis Presley. So I'm sure there are more, but I don't know. So yes, this will be our asylum, Watts Island Asylum. I'm an immigrant, as you guys know. Oh wait, Kurt is still up there. So yes, we do accept refugees.
Yes, we do. We We do. Absolutely.
Open borders.
Because Watts Island is,
Wait a
I'm,
minute.
I'm tired of that place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jessica, there's definitely more to it. There's a lot more to it. And actually, yeah, we'll go through all of that when we go through the actual case files. Because yeah, no, I don't want to get into it because
Yeah.
let me stop.
It's hard. It's like that's why I wanted you to do the West Memphis 3, because you know how I will get.
Yeah, we need each other. We need each other to.
I need you. We reel each other back in at the right time.
Yes.
Sometimes she's like, okay, listen, girl. And I want to say too that so when I'm talking about like Gypsy's motive, as far as, okay, I should need to be clear with the whole Dee Dee situation and her being sick. Keeping in mind that she was already planning this murder. Okay. I think that what motivated her to accelerate and really put the pressure on Nick and amp up and ramp up the, for lack of a better word, emotional terrorism, because if you read those texts, you can see it, was Dee Dee being sick like she was. I think that's just what I think. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the soul, but I think it was a huge contributing factor to moving it, to hurrying it up, to speeding up the timeline, because one of their plans was a baby. And I don't know how they thought they were going to be able to have a baby when they only met the one time. That would have been a miracle. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, any questions? Did we forget anything, John?
I don't think so. I did the stabs because that was important. I wanted people to understand what actually took place in that bedroom and why I do side-eye Gypsy, just because the stab wounds don't make sense and they've never made sense. What else? We did the new channel. We talked. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're good.
We are all set. Another Friday night on the books. I'm actually glad we got Gypsy over with.
Yes. Yeah. Look, I don't wish ill on her. Do I think she should have gotten longer? Yeah, I do. Do I think that she definitely needs, I will say this. So Gypsy is up for parole. Now, what could stop that parole is a letter from the murder victim's family, which in this case would likely be, there is one sister of Dee Dee's, one of Gypsy's aunts, that says, look, Gypsy, I'm not telling you that this is true as far as I agree with her. I'm just saying this is what the aunt says. She says that Gypsy's manipulative and she is exactly where she needs to be, and she shouldn't get parole. She should have to do the full 10 years, and if she could get her more, she would. I also should point out that at the time of the murder investigation, the Greene County police were investigating Gypsy and Dee Dee for fraud. They were looking into the fraud part of it. Yes,
right. That's right.
But my opinion is there are risks and benefits to parole. If she is paroled, one of the good things would be that they can write into her conditions of parole that she must attend therapy. That would be a good thing. Although, on the other hand, if one is forced to attend, I don't know how beneficial
That's never
it would be.
a good idea.
Okay, so there's that. I think if I had to put money on it, I think that Gypsy's aunt will stop the parole. I think Gypsy's aunt will write in. I think Gypsy's aunt will say she doesn't deserve parole. She'll give a victim impact statement, and that'll be the end of it. And Gypsy will do the full 10 years. I mean, she's done 8. What's a couple more?
Well, I think some sort of mental health aspect will be mandatory for her to get out. I think that's part of the standard by now, especially in violent crimes like this, and especially the circumstances of the crime. I think that's going to be a huge aspect of it. And Gypsy can do all of that on paper. And 8191 asked if Gypsy Rose is antisocial, can therapy be effective? There's a overall, I guess, understanding that therapy is not effective for antisocial personality disorder, and that is true to some extent. Although there have been successful cases and treatments for antisocial personality disorder. However, it does depend on a person's level of insight. So I would say that Gypsy does not demonstrate that she has a level of insight. So I don't think a therapy would be effective. And that's not necessarily with antisocial personality disorder alone. That's, I think, with any disorder really. But yeah, so.
And another thing to keep in mind, and let me just put something into perspective for you. So Chris Watts, who annihilated his entire family, is sitting in the Club Med of prisons out there in Dodge, while Nicholas Godejohn, who is autistic and has some other mental health issue going on, is in real big boy prison in Gen Pop. He has been moved. I can't remember the name of his prison. He was in a facility similar to Dodge for a while, but he has since and has been there for at least a good year at this point. He is in real big boy prison. So
8191 also says true, but it can be built up. I'm assuming that's the insight. Yes, that's true. Insight can develop over time. But what we know about personality disorders is that antisocial personality disorder is the one that has the least good prognosis, I guess, whereas borderline personality disorder is one with the best prognosis in terms of age. So, well, antisocial, you gotta, big aspect of that is that criminality aspect, but you also got to think with age, like, we don't really see 60-year-olds, you know what I mean, like robbing.
Correct. There are not
whatever,
many hands. Usually they're the shot callers at that point once they've
right.
been,
But yeah, and with borderline, that's one thing that research shows is that age is one of those factors that contribute to a better prognosis, because it does the emotional lability that is present in borderline personality disorder and the risk taking behaviors decrease over time. So there's that.
I think with Gypsy, this is going to have to be a wait and see. The fact is that no, she hasn't had good behavior while she's been locked up. She's been written up a few times, and they aren't for like violent offenses or major infractions, but it's this
just a simple fact that you can't follow a simple rule.
Well, right, and it's her attitude about the rule. Well, I mean, why I broke the rule because I was helping somebody else, therefore it's okay.
Yeah, that's the whole.
That's not a good thought process to have moving forward and out on the streets. So with Gypsy, I suspect she'll continue to be a criminal. I suspect she'll always be a grifter on some level. But like I said, Rod and Christy, please sleep with one eye open or sleep in shifts. I don't know how Christy's going to do it because Rod's away all the time on the boats. So he works in the oil industry.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another
one.
Another Anadarko conspiracy. Does it happen to be Anadarko oil?
I don't know who he works for, but I don't think that, you know what? I think that Christy did do MLM at one point.
Yeah. Wow.
We're all hosts.
There we go. What did Rourke do now? We better we better get True Time on the case now. All right. Well, with that,
yes.
thank you everyone for being here with us tonight. Thank you to the new members for joining us. Amelia, thank you. It was a pleasure, and we will see you guys soon. Join us tomorrow for Kurt Cobain, and yeah, good night.
Good night. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the mods. Thank you, chat. Thank you to the new members. Thank you for everybody going and subbing to the new channel, willing to check us out. And with that,
I feel like we're at like MTV.
yeah,
I want
I
to
do.
thank God. I want to thank my
All the
mama.
glory to God.
I want to thank my mama. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here.
I want to thank my 7th grade gym coach for making me run those laps, even though I hated it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good night.